Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello, and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us on another wild, daring, crazy, death-defying edition of Crime and Sports. We have a crazy episode today. We've had wild episodes lately. It's been, and I didn't do this. It didn't start out on purpose, but then I started out going, oh, let's do like a crack cocaine month, basically. Let's do a month of because we like crackheads on this show. They're fun. Crackheads give you insane behavior.
Unpredictable.
That's a good word for it. They do unpredictable, wild things, and you tend to go, well, where the hell did that come from? So this is kind of crack month, we'll call it. This is kind of rounding out crack month this month, and then we're going to get into worse crimes starting next week for a few episodes. So we're going to kind of go on a little thing here.
Is there one of those crack awareness months?
This should be, because these last 4 episodes, honestly, if you're ever considering smoking crack and you just start with Jim Neidhart and then go through till today, you probably won't smoke crack. You'll go, wow, I could be in the best shape and rich and famous and doing great, and crack will still destroy my ass. It's the greatest anti-crack campaign ever we have going on right here.
Athletes really in general are a great an anti-crack campaign.
They are role models. See that?
Take that, Charles.
Yeah, he has talent and money, and look what that did to him. Imagine what it'll do to your untalented poor ass. Take you down.
What that does to you motorcycle mechanic.
Everyone's trying to help that guy.
Yeah.
Well, no one gives a shit about you. So anyway, thank you guys for everything this week. All your reviews on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, the purple icon there, whatever the hell that is. Thank you for that so much. Those do help a lot. They drive us up the charts. So if you have not done that yet, that's a great way to help out the show. Get on there. Give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. Say you're following instructions, following directions. It's not for our ego. Yeah. So what do we care?
Save the sweet words for Twitter.
That's all. Or you can write whatever you want. But or you can just say following instructions. We're happy with that. Yeah. But thank you for all of that. You can go to shutupandgivememurder.com. And we suggest you go there toward the end of this week, or listen to Small Town Murder, because all of our tour dates will be announced.
You betcha.
There's still a couple that are lingering out there, but the bulk of them, of the slate here, will be announced, and tickets go on sale next week. So we're super excited about that. Get your merchandise, get your tickets, come see us, all these crazy places. We promise you we're still working on a couple Crime and Sports. Yeah. We're trying to do that. They're all Small Town Murder live shows for right now. I'll be very, very honest with you. You guys and us are the only ones that care. Because our agents are, and then they're great people. They help us out a lot.
Our agents are,
the venues. Everybody's like, oh yeah, Crime and Sports, that's nice, but that's Small Town Murder. Yeah. Let's just do that, because we know we know that does well. So they're just like, if we didn't have Small Town Murder, they'd be like, yeah, sure. Yeah. But they're like, well, but you have that other one. Why would we take that when that's more popular? But you don't understand. You don't get it. If we did Crime and Sports, people would come from distances because they've been wanting it and waiting for it. So we're like, we will sell. God damn it. You don't understand these people. They're fucking into it. So I don't know, but go there, get the tour dates anyway. Yeah. Everything like that. Lots of merchandise on sale. Still us. Yeah. Small Town Murder Live is insane too.
It's so much fun.
It's so much fun. It's wild. So come out and see us there. Also, if you want to be a spectacular, wonderful friend of the show, a producer, as a matter of fact, and have that lofty title, you can do that very easily by going over to patreon.com/crimeandsports, or you can just head over to PayPal and use our email address, which is crimeandsports@gmail.com, to make a one-time donation, and good God, is every cent appreciated. more than you guys could know. We're blown away by everything you do for us. So thank you for that. And we will gush at the end of the show about our long and illustrious list of producers.
Yeah, you're not kidding. This week's pretty deep.
It's deep. I love it, man. Let's get into this show. Let's do this. Yeah. This is an episode tonight. Like lately we've been on kind of like a volume arrest binge. You know what I mean? It's been like,
Jesus, yeah.
Let's get arrested 30 times. Yeah. Like everybody we've been covering every time they leave the house, they get arrested. They can't do anything without getting arrested, which blows my mind.
Starting with Blood Green. And
it's been going through.
Neidhart was before him.
Neidhart got arrested constantly too. But Blood Green was like every other week he's arrested, and then Sammy we've had a run of these insane, just crazy ass, just piles of arrests. Today, we have a story. Even Marinovich had him come. God. He had spurts.
Right.
Because he'd be like clean for a while, and he's like, fuck it, I'm on drugs. I don't care. I'm naked. I'm enough.
You don't get arrested.
Your sliding glass door. My dick is out. He's just freaking out. And
you don't get arrested twice, and the cops know your name.
Yeah.
You know, it's got to be.
That's my favorite. Todd, freeze. Come on, man. At that point, he should have stopped and went, fuck it. All right, fine. You know it's me? Yeah. Where am I going?
It's the best advice he ever ignored.
Just keep running. It's not me. It's not Todd.
Todd who?
Yeah.
You're after somebody else. I'll come talk to you guys.
This is a different kind of story because Marinovich, I'll be honest with you, as a player, as a college player, he was kind of a terrific, like this amazing prospect. As an NFL player.
Flash in the pan, baby.
Yeah, as an NFL player, he's kind of mediocre. Yeah. He had like a couple of games where it looked like, this guy might be something. But other than that, at quarterback, he got to do more than that.
Could you blame the coke for that?
You could just blame him not giving a shit about football because he cared about.
Clearly, his attention's elsewhere. Right.
A quarterback is an all-encompassing. Mm-hmm. You have to be the first one at the facility. You got to be there when the coach gets there. You got to leave when the coach. It's one of those things. Quarterback. Yeah. Peyton Manning would go home and just watch films.
Yeah.
That's all he would do. I'm sure.
You're not talking about The Godfather?
No, I'm talking about game films. Yeah. He had a film room where he would go home, and that's all he did all night was sit and watch film. So he knew that's why he knew when a guy would move, he'd change the offense because he knew exactly what they were doing because he watched a million hours of film. Back in the day, the guys didn't do that. Right. They'd go out, party, get up the next day, and throw some touchdowns.
There were barely cameras.
Yeah. That's like, the defense didn't do it either. No, that just wasn't the same. Now everybody's crazy for it. It's a different thing, but like this guy here is, we're going to talk about today, is the epitome of blown talent. Yeah. This guy could have been. I'm not being crazy. He could have been an NBA all-time top 50 player. That kind of guy. He was spectacular for a second, and he was so destroyed by what he did to himself. And it's not even so much crime. There's not a million arrests. It's not the same amount of volume, but the way he does it is spectacular. It's Richard Dumas, everybody.
Oh, yes!
Somebody that Jimmie doesn't have to guess 8 teams to who he played for. Jimmie?
He only got one, the Phoenix Suns.
There's 2, but...
Did he go to the
briefly? No. That's cool. That's cool. Here we go. Let's go. Fire it out. What do you got?
God damn it.
Timberwolves, who else?
Was it the Clippers?
Nope.
The fucking Expos?
It's the Kansas City Royals, Jimmie. He played for the No, Sixers. He played for the Sixers too.
Did he really?
For a minute.
All right, I don't remember that.
It wasn't big, but otherwise it's just the Suns.
Yeah. Jesus, such a big part of that team too.
Yeah. If you don't know, if you missed it, if you were either not born yet or you were just you blinked for 2 seconds and you missed this guy. This guy was the next something. Yeah. He was called. We'll talk about it, but he's compared favorably to Dr. J and guys like that by NBA coaches. Like that's the kind of talent. Barkley said he's the most talented player he ever played with.
Wow.
Charles Barkley, who played with on the Dream Team, with everybody. This guy, more talented.
Michael Jordan,
more talented. And this guy, as a straight athlete, if he had Michael Jordan's work ethic, he would be that.
He'd be something.
Put it that way, because he was a better player.
Or small forward.
He was a forward. He was a 6'7", so he was like a kind of a swing guy, but just absolutely devastating. Richard Wayne Dumas, as a matter of fact. He is not a junior, but he's named after his dad, though, anyway.
Really?
But it's not a straight junior situation.
How'd that work out?
Different middle name, I assume. But his dad doesn't seem to have a middle name that I can find, so I'm not sure. He's born May 19th, 1969. Okay. While he's born, we'll talk about his dad for a second. This is like kind of kind of like Todd Marin. That's why I did this story. It's kind of like a Todd Marinovich, where his dad had a very brief career also, and but his dad didn't push him, didn't do shit. Like this is all him.
Really?
This is if you just let him go. So it's weird. We all often say, is it better for the father to stick around and beat the shit out of everybody and act like an asshole, or just leave and abandon the whole family? Here it's like, is it better to push your kids in sports and force them, or is it better to lay back in the cut and let them do their thing? Well, either way, they're going to smoke crack, apparently. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't fucking matter.
Wonderful.
You have no control over anything that your children do.
Okay.
So anyway, his father is Rich Dumas.
Yeah.
He played for Northeastern State University, which is in Oklahoma. He played basketball in the 60s. He's a big star. He's a big college star, and he was a good player, and he really was. His father was a good player. I read a little bit about the team he played for too. I read a book called Loose Balls, which is, it's funny because Jason Williams named his, but there's also a book about the ABA, American Basketball Association, that's, joined up with the NBA in the 70s there, called Loose Balls. It's a great book. It's just this awesome history of it.
Greatest title for any book ever.
Loose Balls.
Any NBA game. You know what I mean?
I got loose balls. Watch out. They're falling all over the place.
They are loose as fuck.
Let me tell you. Oh, Jesus, there they go again. Hold on. They keep bobbling everywhere, so I can't stop them.
It's the name of my grandfather's autobiography.
Loose Balls. It's the name of everybody's grandfather's. Growing old gracefully. Loose Balls. Subtitle: Growing old gracefully.
Tale.
Yeah, it's hey, your balls are going to get loose. It's all right.
Deal with it.
That's what I'm going to write when I get older. I'm going to write like hey, it's all right to be old book, and that's what it's going to be called. Loose Balls. Don't worry about it.
Big sports fan.
Sorry, you know what I mean.
Loose balls.
So his dad played for the Houston Mavericks.
Oh, really?
Which, those two names don't go together, obviously, of the ABA. And this is not the precursor to the Dallas Mavericks at all, because this team only lasted for 2 years.
Oh, so it was defunct.
Well, not quite. They moved around, and we'll talk about that. This team went 26-52 the year he played, 68-69, the year Richard was born.
Yeah.
Actually, he was born right at the end of the season.
So at least there's a little bit of smiles in that household.
Yeah.
Losing that many games, that's brutal.
Some of the ABA had a weird thing where like some of the teams had money and were run well, and some of the teams didn't and weren't.
Yeah.
So you had some teams that were a fucking disaster. Like there was, the Miami team, they played on like a rollout floor that they like made at like a high school gym. It was basically like a Knights of Columbus hall that they would like roll out a shit wood floor where the ball wouldn't bounce right, and that was the game. Like that's what they play. That was professional basketball. There was future NBA Hall of Famers playing there, and then there was teams who had their shit together and were really together, and this was not one of them. This team ended up moving to Carolina to be the Carolina Cougars, and you notice I said Carolina, and not a
no north or south,
no north or south, and not a city.
Right.
That's because they wanted to have a wandering home base. They thought the Carolinas were such a hotbed for college basketball that everybody would want to see it.
Oh.
There's no major, huge population center. There's no New York or Philly or somewhere like that. So why base yourself in one city?
Right.
You play one game over here. You play another in Charlotte.
Yeah.
You play, which means you have no home.
Right.
And no one can get behind you.
That's just homeless.
Yeah, because the Carolina, people in North and South Carolina in that region don't go, I'm a Carolinian.
No.
I'm a Carolinian of all the Carolinas. Like, people are specific to their town and their city, so they overlooked that fact of marketing. It didn't quite work.
It's like calling your team the American something or other.
Yeah.
You're not going to get everybody on board.
No. You're going to go, be specific, asshole. Where are you? Sir, where are you located?
People like their territory, their bubble. There's pride
in that. They
like
that. Yeah, especially in the Carolinas.
Right.
The Duke and UNC and NC, they're right next to each other. They're all in the same area. Like, that's how close it is. They don't care. I like that team from right here. not the one from down the street.
People
Fuck them.
in Charleston aren't rooting for the Panthers because they're, you know what I mean? It's an entirely different area.
It's different. And then the Carolina Cougars, because that didn't work, ended up moving to St. Louis and becoming the Spirits of St. Louis, which is where Marvin Barnes played.
Holy shit.
Boom. Just completed a 130 episode arc, motherfuckers, all the way back to the start. Just explain that shit.
That's a great name of a team.
Spirits of St. Louis.
Yes.
Fuck yeah, it was too.
That's
they had that
awesome.
plain logo.
Yeah.
Remember, I had that T-shirt.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool ass. Love
That's
that shit.
that might be the greatest team name ever.
It's so cool. Their colors were cool. Logo was cool, but nobody came to the
Nobody
games.
gave a
They were really
they really blew it.
And they were like the only ABA team that didn't get folded into the NBA when they got out. But they did get that deal where they get a 1/7 share of the TV deal.
That's pretty sweet.
Of a team forever.
So why be mad?
Why?
Fuck your
Oh, they're
team.
not. They have parties every year.
Of course.
When they get their check.
We don't even have to play.
They have hats that say in perpetuity on them that they all wear while they drink champagne because they get paid this deal forever.
That's
fucking amazing.
Incredible.
But Dumas, Rich Sr. here, does not go with them to Carolina and St. Louis because he only plays one season.
Oh, no.
Matter of fact, he only played one game.
What?
He plays for the team, only plays in one game, plays in one game versus the New Orleans Buccaneers, which is who then became the Memphis Pros, who then became the Memphis Tams, who then became the Memphis Sounds, and all over the course of 4 years.
That's terrible.
They became 4 different. Just pick a fucking name and stick with it and let people latch on to it. No, that's not working. They're not buying it right now. Change it now.
They aren't into this fucking Tams, you guys.
Halfway through the game, team's like, who's that on the scoreboard? The Tam? Are we the Tams? The other team's the Buccaneers, I suppose. That's not us. I guess we're the Go Tams.
That is tough to show up to a game for the Sounds wearing a Tams shirt.
That's what I mean. What do you?
Fuck?
You can't get anything going on here. But Rich Dumas played in one game, 5 minutes played. He had what was it here? 5 shots and he made 1. So he was 1 of 5 from the floor with 2 points.
Over 5 minutes.
So
he's really throwing them.
Oh, he was chucking them up. 5 shots in 5 minutes.
Every time he touched the ball, it's
It
going.
was right away. He's a chucker. Let's just say that. But yeah, that's he plays. So he has 2 professional basketball points, and then that's it.
Yeah.
He's a 6.
More than I got.
That's true. He's a 6'3" guard, nicknamed X-Ray because he was very bony. Apparently, they said he was like a skinny, bony guy. But I mean, that's it. Houston Mavericks one deal. That was it.
Yeah.
One of the coaches later on said that all he remembered about Dumas was that he sat in the back of the bus, usually kind of spaced out. So it was the late 60s. They were all a little spaced out.
I'm sure.
And it's basketball. Everybody smokes weed. Come on.
They probably call him X-ray because they need an X-ray to find out if he's got an athletic bone in his body.
Yeah. They said he was very athletic and kind of said that he was untapped potential. They always talked about with him. Just couldn't put it together.
Okay.
Now Richard, his son here, who we're going to talk about, he says that his in different articles he says different things about when his drug use started. Spoiler alert! The whole story is him being a fuck up because he can't stop doing drugs. Shocker! I know you're shocked, everybody. Brace yourselves. I know you're like, really?
Was he drugging during that run?
He was drugging during every run.
Really?
He has basically the first article I read said that he has his drug and alcohol abuse is kind of since he was about 12.
Oh no.
But then he talks about it going way back before that. It's abuse though. That's his abuse. He experimentation goes earlier.
His abuse started at 12?
Abuse starts at 12. That's when he gets heavy into it. Before that, it's casual. Before you're 10, Jimmy, you're not going to be, it's hard to get out and really, get some blow in you when you're 10.
My word.
But once you're 12, then you can really, you're worldlier. You can go out there and score some dope, man. Fuck, brother. So,
that's the other part. At 10, you gotta find it to experiment.
Oh, yeah.
And by then, he found a dude. By 12,
it was around. It was around.
It's amazing.
So from 12, his future coach former Suns coach and his future coach at this point, Paul Westphal, said, quote, "From junior high on, I don't think Richard ever played a game when he wasn't under the influence of something. He thought playing high made him better and that he couldn't play unless he used something."
Paul Westphal was in his life that young?
No. He knows him.
Got it.
So, yeah, this isn't like, they're not like I know Richard from the time he was 12. little cokehead running around, powder all over his nostrils. They said, you little bastard, cut the coke out. Maybe you can do something with your life. No, he didn't. He's just talking about later on, but this is what he was kind of told by Richard after knowing him. Now, he would have, some beers and shit like that. He liked to drink around 12, which, I mean, that's a little young, I would say. It happens. Yeah. I mean, okay. That's regional also.
Yeah.
It's fucking if you're in Wisconsin right now, you're going, I drank beer at 12 because you drank beer at 6 because everybody drinks beer at every age there because that's how it is.
The other thing is that when you were drinking beer at that age, no matter where you're at.
By the way, we'll be in Milwaukee on this tour, actually. We're definitely coming. So we'll see your drunk asses. Bring your drunken children with you, please.
But the thing is that when they were drinking at that age, they weren't drinking to get drunk.
No, they were just having some beer. Right. Well, that's the thing that they do too, and that's but they are alcohol. It's a weird thing. They just have a higher tolerance. We go, look, they're not sloppy drunks. Well, they've still had 14 beers.
Right.
They've just been drinking since they were 12 and have a really good tolerance for it and a liver that's hard as a fucking piece of granite.
They can deal.
Yeah. Like my family lived in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and it's so alcoholic there. Everybody's a fucking alcoholic.
Yeah.
And my family, no exceptions. My Uncle Carlos would have a scotch with breakfast.
Jesus.
I'm talking on the rocks in the glass with his eggs in the morning. He'd go out in the car. He had this Cadillac, and he'd drive around in the car with a glass, not a fucking cup, not trying to, a glass, a scotch on the rocks.
Yeah, you can't ruin it in plastic.
Sitting on his fucking cup holder, sipping it while he's driving his Cadillac around.
That sounds amazing.
Alcoholic. They had kegs. There was kegs in the basement. They had this outside thing with kegs. All the kids drank from the time they were 10. It's just the way it is, and they're all alcoholics and drug addicts.
I was born at the wrong time because I would have loved to have enjoyed that luxury. To be behind the wheel with a gin, with a whiskey, with anything.
He did this in the 90s, Jimmy. This wasn't in the 70s.
This was Tuesday.
Dude, I went there in the 90s with my mom, and he drove us somewhere, and we're talking 1995, 96, and he's got a glass of fucking scotch just sipping. He's already hammered, too. It's 10 a.m. Right. He's already hammered, glass of scotch in his hand going, where are you guys going now?
Still got eggs and bacon breath.
I'm like, Mom, what are we doing in the car with this guy? Thanks. Good parenting. Thank you. Thanks for taking me with him.
You're really sheltering me well. Thank you.
This is safe. Yeah, this is much better. But Cotton Fitzsimmons, another future coach here, a former Suns coach, that's his future coach.
Rest in peace, old man.
Oh, yeah. Says, quote, for Richard, it all started with alcohol, but he started drinking at such a young age, and then he moved on to other stuff. And that's kind of the way it goes here. Now, his mother looks at him like an angel.
Yeah.
Like she keeps pictures of him around a Bible on the table. Like she always has like he's not dead, by the way.
No.
But she always has like
St. Dumas.
Yeah. She has like a memorial to him, like on The Wire. When it's true. When the one kid was missing and he's dead and they go to his house, they go to the grandmother's house and they're tossing it because they want to arrest the guy. Right. And they're like, listen, motherfucker, I think it was Lex, where is he, motherfucker? Where is he? And they're yelling at the grandmother and shit. And then they see that she's got this whole candle set up with his picture there. And they're like, he's fucking dead.
Oh, Jesus.
She's not telling us, but he's fucking dead probably.
Oh, my God.
So then they figured out he was dead. They're like, we see that shit. That's probably not good.
He's not our suspect.
But you don't know that. So, well, he is, but he's dead now too.
Okay.
He did do the first murder and then he got killed also.
Oh.
So, yeah, it was,
that's a great show.
Who the fuck was it that got murdered? Now, damn it. Now I'm going to forget.
Is it that confusing? Are there that many people in it?
There's a lot of people in it, but it's just a matter of, I can't remember if it's one guy or the other because I'm in the middle.
Are you being racist?
I'm all
Richard.
People look alike? I'm all Richard Dumas. Yes, actually, yes. I'm saying they looked exactly alike, and that's why it was.
Right.
Not because it's all short nicknames that I'm trying to fucking remember.
That is a nightmare.
Because there was the one, God damn it.
There's only so many letters that you can put together with a vowel in there and make a word.
Yeah.
You know
well, it's the one dude went up to the guy in the parking lot, the dude with the hat that Dennis Wise couldn't fucking shoot, that wears the goddamn Kangol there, the floppy Kangol, and Dennis Wise was out of prison, came up, and he was supposed to shoot these kids, and he looked him right in the face, and he couldn't fucking shoot him. Well, this other guy came up to him because he was fucking his ex-girlfriend or something, and he shot him in the fucking head in the parking lot, and he's like, hey, Keisha, pow, and he shoots this dude in the head, and she starts screaming and runs away.
Oh, my God.
Blah, blah, blah. So they're looking for this guy, but turns out he's already fucking dead. And I can't remember, I can't remember who it was.
This is some cold-hearted cold-hearted shit.
Yeah, it's a very complicated thing.
Shot a dude in front of a girl.
Oh yeah, that was the point. Because it was his ex-girlfriend. Okay. So he was like, hey, you know.
That's how you send a message.
Yeah, that's how you do it there. You go, hey, wear some brains, lady. I got...
Whatever happened to walking by saying, how's your wife and my kids?
That's... No fun anymore, Jimmy.
I guess not.
It's all about putting brains on a person's nightshirt. That's all. Oh, you going out tonight? You get your club shirt on? How about some brains on it?
Whatever happened to shaming a dude because he's sucking you off now? You know what I mean?
Cool,
what happened to that?
How I taste, motherfucker.
Yeah.
What happened to that shit? Yeah, no more. It's not happening now.
Hope I was clean, bitch, or something. I don't know.
No, there's a lot of shitty comments to be made. You don't make any of them. Or you can just ignore. Nope, this guy, gunplay.
Just giggle and get a better one.
Yeah, get gunplay. Is the only thing you can do here.
At Baltimore.
Boy, I'll tell you. Something else.
So Richard
Dumas's mother has this shrine to Dumas on the coffee table here. She said she put him in basketball because, you know, genetically he's probably going to be good at basketball since his dad, and that's not racist either. It is. No. His dad's a basketball player. His dad's a fucking basketball player. I don't give a shit if he's Croatian. It's racist also.
Right.
She said, well, I looked at him and I said, he is black now. No, his dad's a basketball player and he's tall. So she's like, basketball might be good for him.
Yeah.
And not only that, he's rambunctious and he's out running the streets and shit like that. He needs something to get some energy out.
Yeah.
If you have an energetic kid, you know what that shit's like. You need something. Just go run for a while.
Basketball is so much running.
Run around the damn block. I don't care.
Yeah.
So she put him in that. He was mischievous and, you know, he's kind of a shithead when he was a little kid here.
Good thing that in basketball, stealing is legal.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Well, here on this one.
Also, not racist. That's an actual fact.
That's an actual fact. Again, a non-racist actual fact.
I just caught myself.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, no. I got what you're saying. Though.
Okay.
So, but he's rambunctious and he's apparently into drugs. Not that his family knows that, but he also doesn't really cause, once he gets into basketball, he doesn't really cause that many problems. He never gets in fights. He had a lot of stupid shit he would do before basketball, and even when he was into it, he'd break windows, stealing candy from stores, shit like that rambunctious kids that don't have enough supervision do, basically. He said that you know, he was so bored as a small child that he had nothing else to do but turn to drugs and alcohol. So I feel for the guy, pre-Nintendo or anything, you know, or pre-Atari. I'm thinking, you know, he's right on the cusp.
He really is.
If he's born 5 years later, none of this happens.
He's fine.
He's sitting there playing fucking Defender, doing fine with his joystick and waiting for Mario to come out.
He's retired today, and everybody talks about him.
Everybody talks about him, but instead he's out, you know, dicking off. He says that he tried alcohol at 5. Which is young. Okay, sure. Even for Wisconsin, that's a little young. And weed at 9. Again, too young for weed. Yeah. And I'm a weed enthusiast, but 9 is a little too young for weed. Let's just say that. Hold off on that shit.
I smoked a cigarette when I was 10. That's a cigarette.
Yeah.
That does nothing to you in terms of...
Well, it probably did when you're 10. You probably were dizzy. I was going to say, you were probably like, whoa, hey... What the hell?
I was throwing up with my Uncle Kenny banging on the door going, he's going, isn't smoking fun?
Man, that's the worst. That is the fucking worst. So he says, now this is what's fucking funny here. He did drugs and tried weed and started doing everything else when he was young. But then he says that he increased his drug. This is amazing. Okay, this is the best reason for increased drug use we've ever had in crime and sports. This is like worth the episode just for this stupid shit right here. He says that he increased his drug use, including cocaine. He got more interested in cocaine because of former First Lady Nancy Reagan coming out with the Just Say No policy.
Yeah.
So
tell me no.
Yeah. Well, he said he was just like, just say no to drugs. Drugs sound interesting. Like that's what it was. So he says, quote, she said, just say no. So it got me interested. He said, it brought it to the forefront. We didn't have any big drug problem until Nancy said to say no to drugs. Nobody knew half about it. Now they're showing it on TV and about what it does. So
he's absolutely right.
I agree with that. Actually, I don't know about to escalate, but to...
That's not going to tell me do it
more.
Right.
But I would say, like, okay, here's my take on this, is when you say, like, just say no and just say no. And the way that, if you look at, like, watch footage of, like, the Reagans, who, if you're very young and are also a fucking idiot, were presidents, or a president and his wife. Sorry, if you don't know who the president was 30 years ago, you're a fucking moron. I apologize.
And a fucking idiot.
Yeah. I don't care how well. Don't give me that. I wasn't even born yet. I don't care.
He was the first one I found out about.
I knew who Eisenhower was when I was a kid. You got to know who fucking Reagan is. So anyway, either way, just know your history. So when they talked about drugs, it wasn't like in terms of, there was no pragmaticness to it. It was just like, you will, if cocaine comes into your house and is in someone else's pocket, you could just die on the floor.
Right.
Like, you'll just die. You'll have a heart attack. If it's anywhere near you, you're just going to die immediately. So you're fucked.
It's essentially right, because when I was a kid,
they were telling kids.
I never thought about doing any hard drugs, I mean, apart from weed, until I turned, 15, 16 years old, because it really, in my head, the stigma of,
because we were little,
fucking die.
We were little. Yeah. If you're fucking 5 and they're telling you that, you believe it, because you believe everything they're telling them. So I was in the same boat with you. I was like, oh, Jesus. And then Len Bias died, and they're like, see? Right. Meanwhile, he had a fucking heart problem. That's why he died. He had a coke he would have died at some point in the near future anyway. Right. But
you show a white girl jumping on a diving board, and then she jumps in head first, and then they show the pool, and it's fucking empty. Then you're like, I'm never doing that drug.
Why does her whiteness matter, Jimmy?
Well, that's what it was. I know what you're saying. I know what the commercial was, but it was funny. It was geared to America.
No, it was. They were trying. No, it was geared to suburban kids now, because they didn't give a shit. They were like, oh, inner city, smoke all the crack you want, whatever. We'll just arrest you, but don't die, precious hunter.
Right. Goddamn Stephanie.
Listen, Heather, please don't die.
Stay off the shit.
Heather, we need you. Don't jump into that pool.
Drugs will
That's
make
what the commercials
jump into
were, though.
Dry pool.
Which is basically Reagan's political policy also. Was we care about Heather, and Denisha can eat shit and die. So
Denisha will be in prison for life.
Yeah,
don't worry.
It's fine. She won't bother you again, Heather. Don't you worry about her. Don't you worry about her. Yeah, no, it's okay, sweetheart. Stroking her face. I just pictured Ronald Reagan, like 90 years old, Alzheimer's riddle, just stroking a white girl's face, going, "It's okay, Heather.
It'll be all right.
Please stop."
It's going to be all right, Mandy. My name's Heather. Oh, yeah, I forgot
Your
already.
Your breath smells like cancer. Please stop, old man. So anyway, it's true though, but the problem is, if you have a teenager and you tell them that, not only do they go, well, fuck you, because teenagers are rebellious, but also at the same time, if you know anybody who does drugs or did drugs or anything like that, if you ever had it around you and you see them not dying, then it's like, well, they're just fucking lying to me. That's bullshit. And if they're saying it's so deadly, and it's not, obviously, because my friend fucking, this guy over here is doing fine. He does coke all the time. He's not dead. And liars. So fuck it. I guess it's fine. I guess they just don't want us to do it because it's good.
and because they're not aiming their marketing and telling people, they're telling the other people not to do it.
Yeah.
But they're not telling us shit.
And that's what it is, though. I feel like if you see proof that they lied to you like that, that's proof.
Absolutely.
I see people around me, they're not, and that's how in the 90s, when we came into ourselves as teenagers and saw people doing drugs and nobody was dying and shit, and and if anybody did die, it was always the person who was a fucking disaster. It was like, oh yeah, they were out of control. Clearly, obviously,
it wasn't just the drugs that was going to take that person anyway.
Well, we noticed the Len Bias thing was not the norm. Right. That's what it was. Like they made the big deal out of that, but that wasn't the norm. The norm was, someone who does so much drugs, but if you have it sort of under control, and that made us go, okay, you're all liars.
Right.
And, and now we're
I was living in a house with a man who smoked weed every goddamn day.
That's what I mean. I
see that guy doing fine with his job and going to work. And
I was around drugs as a kid too. And
fine.
It was always, that's what I mean. He wasn't having a heart attack every other day and dying. So, I
wish he would now.
So he blames Nancy Reagan for his drugs. So all this story, just keep picturing Nancy Reagan because it's all her fault. So he goes to Booker T. Washington High School in Tulsa, which is apparently a sports powerhouse from what I'm reading about here. Their boys basketball team has 16 state championships.
Wow.
77, 73, 77, 81, 84, 85, 86, 87, 95, 96, 97, 99, 2009, 2001, 2002, 2010, 2019.
Wow.
They're not fucking around.
And they just started being badass again.
Again, yeah. They have little cycles and they get a new class in there. I mean, 95, 6, and 7. They did 3 goddamn years in a row.
And then they skipped one and hit it again in 99.
Hit it again, skipped another, hit it again for a double.
That's
impressive. 3 girls basketball state titles, 9 state football championships, 7 boys soccer, boys swimming, track, girls track. They have 9, wrestling, volleyball, whatever the fucking sport is. They kick ass.
How bad do you want to meet that coach?
All these coaches. Who are these? Who are they hiring?
The same dude. It's a high school.
Yeah. Well, I assume the boys basketball coach isn't coaching wrestling also.
He might.
Probably
Mine was.
not. Wow. That's usually like a tiny town shit there, though. This is like a big school.
Yeah.
And Wayman Tisdale went here.
No kidding.
Yeah, Wayman Tisdale, 1985, second overall draft pick, and a goddamn good player and a weird neck.
Unbelievable jazz musician, too.
And a weird, like a strange hunched neck
big
thing.
Head. That's why.
It's weird. Well, he's probably used to ducking, I think. He's real tall. So,
carry that head around.
Absolutely. R.W. McQuarters, who's a cornerback in the NFL for a long time.
Wait a minute. Tisdale and he played together in the NBA, too.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. So, Bobby Meacham, the wide receiver for the Saints there. A bunch of guys like that played. A lot of guys. A lot of, like, kind of mediocre NFL players and shit like that. But they have a long list of, like, professional alumni. Dumas, while he's there, is the 1 year is the Oklahoma High School Player of the Year.
Wow.
And it's pretty competitive there too. They really give a shit about their basketball in the middle America there. He was an All-American there also at Booker T. Washington, which is amazing. He went to a national summer camp where he was just blowing everybody away with his athleticism. He's 6'7". He's a little skinny when he goes to college. He's about 200 pounds. He bulks up a little bit later on, but he's not a guy that's going to bump you out of the way with his mass.
Yeah.
He's a guy that's just going to jump over your head.
Right.
And there's not a lot you can do about it. And he had a good shot, too.
Yeah,
Fuck, he was nasty, man. Nasty. Well, anyway, there at the summer camp, he's recruited by Oklahoma State.
Oh.
And that's where he ends up saying he wants to go. And he's a guy who really could have gone anywhere, and he just decided Oklahoma State. He was rated as one of the top 50 high school basketball players in the nation by all the scouting services. Okay. So he was really up there.
Is OSU a powerhouse for basketball?
Not then.
That's my point.
They made the tournament. It's funny. This class kind of, once he leaves, they start being good.
How about that?
They start being better at basketball and having a good record of making the tournament every year. But it might have been guys like this from Oklahoma going there might have kind of triggered other people to go there possibly. He was considered one of the top 2 players in Oklahoma, in all of Oklahoma, along with Mike Maddox.
Nobody knows him.
Nobody knows that guy. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit from Cheers.
Oh, cheershealth.com, right?
That's right. Cheers is designed to reduce the negative effects of alcohol. It works. You should use it. It's good stuff. I'm telling you guys, it's good.
Yeah.
It is good. It's because we all know this. Let's be realistic here. We're not robots.
No.
We're all human beings.
Yeah.
And let's say you have a couple of drinks, and I'm not talking about going crazy.
No.
I'm not talking about you went to a keg party and were there till 4 a.m. You could have 2-3 drinks with some friends at a dinner party or something like that. You wake up the next day, you're not feeling your best.
Nope.
You feel a little bit sluggish. You just feel like you've gotten, it's hit you a little bit.
There's a little something off.
There's a little something off, and you need to correct that. And there is a way to correct that, and it's with Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers
Cheershealth.com.
It will do it. I'm telling you guys, it'll take that little sting off of it when you'll go, hey, wow, I feel like I didn't have a couple glasses of wine last night. That's terrific. It's good stuff. Cheers After Alcohol Aid is designed to reduce the negative effects of alcohol. And whether you drink a little or a lot, it doesn't matter. All you have to do is take 2 to 4 capsules before you go to bed. Super simple. You'll feel at least 50% better in the morning is what they're telling you, or your money back. Guaranteed. So they're putting their money where their mouth is. That's good stuff. It's like an antacid for alcohol. No more headaches, nausea, sluggishness the next day. It's even good for your liver. To order now, just visit cheershealth.com, then enter the promo code CRIME at checkout to get 10% off your first order plus a free gift. That's cheershealth.com, promo code CRIME for 10% off and a free gift. Cheers. It's the best thing to happen to alcohol since alcohol.
And now back to the show.
He held a press conference at his high school to make an announcement. Imagine doing that.
Oh, Jesus.
Imagine having a press conference at high school.
I wish.
Imagine that.
Oh, my God.
No one gave a shit. I could have announced I was going to kill the president when I was in high school. No one would have came to it for a press conference. I'm announcing my plan to... No one would have cared. No one would have cared. This guy's just like, I'd like to go there to play some basketball, and everyone's going to...
All right.
Get there.
Gather round. Say it again, Rich.
Fly in from the west side of the state, everybody. I mean, I drove 8 hours to hear him say this, to hear a child tell me where he wants to go play basketball. Full-grown people with mortgages and lawn furniture and fucking extra freezers in the garage that they keep meat in that they bought when it was on sale at Costco. That kind of people. Real people, you know what I mean? Like fucking people like that. Like are driving to hear this child tell us where he's going to go.
People with bills left their day job to hear this man.
Men with child support payments do.
To hear a kid exit world history and tell him his plans.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Sorry, everyone. I have to get back to. I have to get back to class.
Good, because I got to go pick up my kids, Rich. Thanks for your words.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to take AP History, and you go pick your kids up. And it's been a great press conference, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Oh, that'd be the greatest thing ever. Can you imagine the fucking avalanche of girls that wouldn't have talked to you 10 minutes ago?
Oh, now there's a press conference.
Oh, incredible.
A goddamn press conference is fucking...
There are microphones with windscreens inches from your face.
And people taking pictures of this. Jesus Christ. It is in his last season there, he averaged 16.7 points and 7 rebounds, leading them to a 26-2 record.
How about that?
And they got the Class 5A state title. And he ranked second in the state with a 60.2 field goal percentage.
Okay.
So he's nasty, is what we're saying here. He says, quote, Oklahoma State has everything I was looking for, and I just decided not to wait. I was impressed with the coaches, the atmosphere, and the players, everything. So he was just kind of impatient, honestly. It was the other thing. And we'll talk about here, too. He said he didn't make any other official visits to any other schools, which is crazy. Yeah. This is basically like, hey, all expense paid party visits, 18-year-old kid, they're going to hook you up with tons of girls and liquor and weed and anything you want.
Absolutely.
And they're going to want to do that? Nope. Huh?
There's pride in him staying home. I can see his angle that there's pride in him staying home, and then OSU not being a powerhouse yet, there's a chance of him being a huge fucking star there.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
He also had home pressure, too, because he was asked about what other schools he considered. They're like, okay, you didn't make any other visits, because he didn't even visit OSU.
Really?
He just announced he was going there. They recruited him, and he said, sure,
I'm in.
Don't need to see it, I'm there, which is weird for a guy of this, stature.
Yet he knows all about the atmosphere.
Knows it all. Well, they asked him about that, and about what other schools. He said, quote, I won't say because my mother doesn't want me to talk about other schools. So his mom said, you ain't going nowhere, motherfucker. You're going to be cutting up and fucking doing drugs and everything else. You're going to stay here, or I can come visit you and keep an eye on you once in a while, you little bastard. I know what you're up to.
Pop in on Saturday.
Mom knows what's up. So, the coach here said that other schools that actively recruited him were the University of Oklahoma, Arkansas, Clemson, Notre Dame, Oral Roberts, which...
Great schools, except for that.
What? Yeah, Oral Roberts.
What is that?
He was like, Oral Roberts, that shit sounds good. And they were like, no, it's a religious. He was like, oh, shit, never mind. Shit, Oral Roberts.
School of dentistry, Oral B?
I was going there. I'm going to Oral Roberts. I don't know who she is, but this sounds good.
Oral Bob's.
I'll be there. So, he picked Oklahoma State, and he said that he picked it over more established basketball programs because he liked the challenge of it also. He said, quote, I wanted to be known as being on the team that made Oklahoma State a good program. I think Coach Hamilton could eventually take us to the Final Four. So, he's trying. And the coach said that he wasn't surprised that Dumas committed, because he committed the first day you can commit.
No kidding.
The first day you're allowed to commit to a college, he committed. And the coach said, quote, I knew Richard was the kind of kid who didn't want the pressure of having coaches come in from all over the country. He's not very... He's not good with the spotlight.
Yeah.
He's not good socially. He's okay socially, like person to person, but he's not a guy who wants to
Charisma, commanding a room.
He's not the guy who wants to go be the center of attention. Yeah. He's not Charles Barkley,
right?
Who wants to go in, and that's not his game at all. He's a quiet guy, kind of he talks a lot about later on about he just kind of grew up around his family and just likes his family, and he's not really. Doesn't really hang out with a lot of people and all that kind of shit. Now, the coach said of him, quote, "Without question, he's the best player at our school since Wayman Tisdale." Which not too goddamn shabby there. He said we've played him at forward, guard, and center, but I think in college he'll be either a big guard or a small forward. He's an excellent shooter, a great leaper, and a shot blocker. They said at this point he was a good student. He already satisfied his requirements with his college board exams and everything. So he's not a dumb guy by any stretch of the imagination. 87-88 Oklahoma State, and this Oklahoma State team has John Starks on it.
Oh,
which is fucking crazy. Which is weird. John Starks comes up so often on this show.
Were they the same age?
Yeah, well, John Starks a couple of years older.
Okay.
John Starks also played, it took him a while to get to the NBA.
Okay.
Starks didn't go right from college to the NBA. He played in the CBA for a while and like the USBL. Like he had to work up to playing in the NBA. Starks.
I must have watched his rookie season then, right?
Yeah, early 90s he came in, but I think this is Starks' senior year.
Okay.
This I believe is his senior year, and it's Dumas's freshman year. So they cross like that, and then Starks comes in later.
Okay.
But it's Starks and it's Dumas, so I mean, right there, that's a pretty good couple of guys, couple future NBA players here. 87-88 team goes 14-16, so not great under Coach Leonard Hamilton, as he said. Richard plays in 30 games, starts 26.
That's good.
So they want him in there. I mean, if you have a team that's not a great program, this guy is talented as all shit. He's playing. He plays 31.2 minutes a game. Too. So you're playing a freshman a lot. That's a lot of faith in him. 17.4 points a game as a freshman, which is awesome. Also, 6.4 rebounds, 1.6 assists, 1.6 steals, and a block a game he averages.
Jesus. He averaged a block a game?
Averages a block a game. This guy covers every piece of the stat sheet he covers. Not a great passer, but that's okay. No. He's a kid that's a scorer. So if he plays defense, you're doing something. Yeah. He's the freshman of the year in the Big 8 conference, which is awesome. Cotton Fitzsimmons would say about him later, quote, "Everyone knew Richard was a talent, but he also had a drug problem, and that was no secret either."
They knew then.
Wow. Everyone knew then. Everyone knew in high school. They all knew. That's the thing. The silver haze over all of sports, especially in the 80s, because in the 70s it was a lot of like the guys all did drugs, but the owners didn't fucking know about it. They didn't even know what drugs were. They were a bunch of old fart rich guys. They had
were
no
doing coke anyway.
Yeah, they were all martini lunch guys who had a couple on the golf course and all that. They didn't know about fucking coke and all that shit or weed. They thought that's those hippies. They don't know what the hell was going on. So they were surprised, I think, to hear the players were doing drugs in like the 70s at first.
That's interesting.
By the 80s, they all knew what was going on, and they were all like, well, unless they get arrested or something, we're just going to, what's over here? Hey, how you doing, Richard? Yeah, no, I'm looking this way. You come on inside. It's just, they didn't give a shit, man.
Yeah, keep that shit out of my backswing.
I don't want to know about it. Yeah, and that's kind of what it was like back then for drugs. It was this weird, like, hey, he's a drug guy, yeah, but, look at him dunk.
That is fascinating, because Twitter may have changed the game. Just social media in general changed the game in terms. We might not know what all these guys are doing today, apart from TMZ. But I mean, social media really brought it to the forefront that you can get information out fast, especially of fuck ups.
Well, like me just doing research for the show for the last 160 episodes now is I've noticed I can tell where there's information. In the last 10 years, if you did anything at all, it's covered by everything, every publication on earth, every website, everybody's got a blog for it, and this and that. It's covered. If you go like to the 70s, it's they would push that shit under the rug still. There was still police stations that would take the player out the back so the press wouldn't know about it and see him and shit like that. Yeah, so there was a lot of like kind of secret arrests, like the press would find out about it later. This guy was arrested a month ago for something, but cops didn't say anything, and nobody said shit, and there was a lot of that going on.
That's fascinating.
So many times players are arrested, and you just didn't know about it. And then in the 80s, it started to become more, it was kind of more by the book.
Yeah.
I remember Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Iron Sheik wrestlers who were enemies at the time, whatever. They were got busted on the New Jersey Turnpike. They got pulled over. I don't know if you remember this. It was the biggest deal in the world. They got pulled over. Duggan was driving. He had an open container. He was drinking a beer. And Sheik he said he had like a half a joint in the ashtray, and Sheik had some coke in his fucking shaving kit or some shit like that. So it was the biggest deal in the world, though, that these two wrestlers were busted together, blah, blah, blah. And Duggan said at the time, he didn't even think anyone was going to find out about it. They went to the show that night.
No kidding.
They bonded out and went to the show like nothing happened. Didn't say anything because they were like, oh, hopefully, nobody will find out about that. And
we'll
he said
that in a week.
Yeah, he said, oof, whatever. And he said that he called his wife the next morning, and and she said everybody fits on the front page of the fucking paper. Yeah. His dad was the chief of police in their town.
Oh, Newsday.
Fucking, I mean, it was a huge deal at that point. So that was kind of the end. That mid-80s was the end of athletes being able to kind of go, hey, man, I'll give you a couple of tickets to the game and let's just forget about this drunk driving. What do you say? And they would do that shit back in the day all the time. So Richard, 1988-89 for Oklahoma State. They go 17-13. Okay. They turn it around. Above 500. Not bad here. Richard, 28, starts all 28 games he plays, 30 minutes a game. Again, not too bad. 15.7 points, 7 rebounds, 2.6 assists, 2.5 steals per game. Yeah. 2.5 steals a game.
That's unbelievable.
And 1.1 blocks per game.
So he's up in the stat sheet too.
At this point, he's in the top 10 in the conference in points per game, steals, blocks, rebounds, and shooting percentage.
Good Lord.
So, I mean, he's just filling the stat sheet with good stuff. Yeah. He's nasty, basically. Problem is, by the middle of this season, the sophomore season, he starts kind of getting into the drugs and the booze to where they start to notice on the team. No. It affects him. He shows up to practice hungover or fucked up or not in his best, whatever. Even in games, there's something off about him sometimes, where he just seems like he's a little lethargic or a little slow. Yeah. Like, what's up with Richard, man? Yeah. And he's just not there. Also, sometime in here he has a son, which isn't good either. Name? Yeah. Laron.
Okay.
So everyone breathe a sigh of relief. Sigh of relief. Laron. Good job. Yeah. Good job, Richard. Nice decision. Way to go.
Broke that cycle.
Break the cycle. 89-90 season with Oklahoma State. The Oklahoma State Cowboys. They go 17-14 again. Okay. Don't make the tournament any of these years here. Close, but not quite making it. This year, though, he only plays in 12 games. Okay. Starts 7 of them. Averages 12.7 points a game.
They don't even make the NIT?
No, they don't even make the NIT there. Problem is here, he ends up leaving school. He can't do drugs and stay in school at the same time. And he's like, well, I got to do drugs. So, I mean, bye.
Like his grades are slipping?
His grades are slipping. He's fucking off. He's fucking up. I mean, he's obviously doing something. And they're like, hey, dude, you can't do drugs and be here and be a mess. And he's like, well, I'll just leave then later. And just fucking takes off. It's the weirdest shit. Like he ends up going to Israel to play.
What?
Ends up playing in Israel, which is there's a lot of leagues over there. He plays in Israel, and he says he did that so he could keep getting high.
Wow.
He didn't want to fucking stick around in Oklahoma sober. That's boring.
I'm shocked that he made it to the NBA at this point.
That's what I mean. He goes to play Israel and is in his not even like after college, right. Or this is while he leaves college. That's back then they go, but look at him jump though. Come on. Whereas now they're like, red flag, because it's such a huge investment monetarily. Right. Back then, they still looked at it as like, you got to take a chance. They're all crazy. What do you want? They're ball players. Ball players are nuts. I don't know.
He literally left the country to continue his habit.
He said that he had 2 minor league different teams that he played for in Israel. He said he kept using drugs, quote, as Saddam was bombing me, because this was during the Gulf War. Right. This was when Saddam was firing Scud missiles at Israel like fucking crazy all day, every day. And
he's just chopping up an 8-ball.
He's just like, it's cool, coke and basketball, no problem. What is that? What blew up? Fine, whatever. Shit. Imagine being that like coke paranoid and literally being attacked by missiles
by a tyrant, by like one of the worst people at that time period.
Looking out the windows, oh shit! Right door to door. Do you see anything? Saddam here. You'd be freaking the fuck out. Yeah. I'd lose my fucking mind. I couldn't do that. Jesus, that's horrible.
I don't even want to be in another country, let alone be under attack.
On coke while you're under attack?
Right.
No thanks. So he's hoping to get drafted in the 91 draft. That's his goal here. Yeah. Get drafted. He went to Israel basically so he wouldn't get kicked out of college and then, kind of look even worse.
Can't fire me, I quit.
Basically, yeah. That's kind of what he was doing. I quit. So June 26, 1991's the NBA draft. First player chosen overall. Guess?
Nick Van Exel? No.
Grandmama.
Oh, was it? Larry Johnson was a number one. Huh?
Larry Johnson, number one overall. Kenny Anderson, number two. Point guard there. Billy Owens, the lost Golden State Warrior of those 90s teams. It was, Hardaway. Hardaway, Sprewell, Mullen, Weber. And Billy Owens. That's the other guy.
I can see his face.
Yeah. I want to say he wore number 30 just because I remember him from the game, from all the Sega games, being the power forward on that team.
The brightest, whitest dude out there.
No, he's not white. No? Billy Owens is black as shit. Yeah.
No.
Billy Owens is black.
Why don't I?
Absolutely not a white man. I see him
looking like Judd Buechler.
He does not. You just pictured Judd Buechler. He's not Judd Buechler. And Judd Buechler, if you don't know, looks kind of like he looks like a huge Will Forte kind of. He's like not a real athletic looking cat. It's the hairstyle. He's got the Will Forte hair, which is
very what's the other fuck? Kiki Vandeweghe.
Kiki.
Just a super, just insanely, a token white.
What about Tom Chambers?
Eesh.
Tom Chambers looked. He was okay. I mean,
he was such a dork.
He's a great player though, but he looks so silly. He just looked like a golfer that got lost. He had like that golfer hair. Yeah, He did. He got lost. He's like, this isn't the course. He's got his club over his shoulder. He's got like a 3-wood over his shoulder, and someone tosses him a basketball. He's like, I'll give this a shot. What the hell?
And now I'm the best player in this team's history.
I'm pretty tall. Look at that. Didn't realize.
Say the guy's name then that we're talking about.
Billy Owens.
Why do I see a white guy?
I have no idea.
You say the name again. You tell me he's black. I see a goofy white guy.
It's not him. He got drafted by Sacramento, went to Golden State. Dikembe Mutombo by Denver, number 4, waving his finger at everybody there. Miami, the guard Steve Smith. Luke Longley goes 7th to Miami. Nice pick.
Had one of the longest careers ever.
Yeah, Steve Smith played for a long ass time. He was good. He played on the second Dream Team. Stacey Augmon.
Yes.
So, Jesus, between Steve Smith and Stacey Augmon, that's some Atlanta for a while there. Yes, a bunch of guys. Greg Anthony, Dale Davis, Chris Gatling.
Yeah.
These are some 90s names here going on. LaRon Ellis. Oh, Jesus Christ. Stanley Roberts. I always thought he was like 100. I didn't realize.
Say the other one again. Dale Ellis? Is that what you said?
LaRon Ellis and Dale Ellis.
Okay, yeah.
Both of them.
Dale Ellis was a great three-point shooter.
Dale Ellis was Dale Davis. No, I said Dale Davis and LaRon Ellis, not Dale Ellis.
I don't think I know Dale Davis.
Dale Davis was the big Pacers power forward.
Got him.
Big, tough-looking son of a bitch.
In my head when
muscular, pointy elbows. The tough-looking son of a bitch. Now, first round goes by, Dumas isn't chosen. Talent-wise, he's a top 10 guy, talent-wise, but there's a lot of people don't want to touch him.
Well, no.
And Cotton Fitzsimmons said, quote, former Oklahoma State, they're just saying Leonard Hamilton, who's his coach, who was Dumas's coach in college, is a good friend of mine, and he told me Richard was not a bad kid. Problems, he had major problems, but Leonard had coached Richard and thought he might be worth a gamble for us. Okay. So he does a lot of coke, but we think we're going to take him anyway, which is crazy.
He left the country to do coke.
Well, the Suns of all teams, because I don't know if a lot of people know about this. We will cover it on the show. There was a big scandal in 1987 where like 4 different Suns players were arrested for drug trafficking for this big cocaine ring that was going on in Phoenix that they were a part of. And it was a huge deal. Like 4 guys got arrested, federal charges, the whole deal.
Oh, I can't wait.
A big deal. And this happened in 1987. Okay. So the Suns were known as the epicenter of the NBA cocaine problem. And 4 years goes by, and they're like, let's draft the biggest cokehead in college. What do you say? It's what I mean.
That is incredible.
It's crazy. He said it's all right. They said that the team, it caused them, the Suns completely refolded their roster in the late 80s. They said they got rid of everyone except Jeff Hornacek, who's way too dorky to do coke.
And Tom Chambers.
Well, he I think was gone anyway.
All right.
But
playing golf already?
Something, yeah, to the early, but then that's when they brought in KJ and they got Dan Marley and there was a total new blood. Yep. They got rid of everybody because of that. I mean,
Hornacek went to the 76ers for Charles Barkley, right?
Hornacek.
I think that's right.
Shit, no, because wasn't Hornacek on the 93 team?
He may have come back, but I thought who went to Philly for Barkley? Wasn't it Hornacek?
Who the hell was it now?
Damn it.
All right, let's not get into this. This is a rabbit hole here. So Cotton Fitzsimmons here, he says, quote, "We hadn't had a problem in 5 years." Well then, it was actually 4, Cotton, but calm down.
Bad math, sir.
4. We talked about Dumas and thought if we could surround him with some good people, if we could get him some help. There was a lot of ifs, but we decided to draft him because there wasn't much of a risk. Because in the second round, you can draft a ham sandwich. It doesn't matter because he's not going to play anyway.
I would really like to watch that.
Comes up to the podium.
With the 34th pick in the NBA draft, the 76ers pick a ham sandwich.
He's got a solid body for down low, but not much charisma, they're saying. They're worried about that. They're not sure about the marketing possibilities with him, but definitely some solid bulk down low.
Mustard and tomatoes, very complimentary.
And absolutely, and also the fact that he's covered in mayonnaise keeps defenders off of him. It's a very slippery man, so it's good stuff. I believe he's on rye. Okay.
Oh, that's disgusting.
That is disgusting. So, second round, though, honestly, it doesn't matter. If I read you I read you the first rounders, and you know all those guys, right? Second round, Kevin Lynch, George Ackles, Rodney Moore, Chad Gallagher, Donald Hodge, Myron Brown, Mike Uzzolino. Know any of these guys? That's the top of the second round.
Donald Hodge had his card. He played for the Magic. Yes?
Donald Hodge played for Dallas, and he played for 5 years.
Okay.
He was drafted by Dallas. He might have went to the Magic. I think so, too. But, I mean, the number of years here, Randy Brown is the only guy in the second round there that had any, and Elliot Perry.
Okay.
Elliot Perry from the early 90s Suns. But otherwise, it's a bunch of garbage in the second round.
I might be thinking of Donald Royal.
I think you are thinking of Donald Royal, as a matter of fact.
God damn it.
So, but finally, with the 46th pick, the Suns say fuck it and they grab Richard Dumas. Why not? After him, literally hardly anything is picked. Zan Tabak is picked, who played for 6 years. Other than that, nobody. Okay. Bunch of garbage. So 91-92 here, that season, he's set to be a rookie. He goes in. They said that he impressed everybody with his athleticism. He was immediately, like, just in the just the easy first workouts, they were like, holy shit, this guy's even better than on film. And then Cotton Fitzsimmons said, quote, "But right before the end of camp, Richard tested positive for drugs."
That's why he was so athletic.
Just got there. Yeah. You just got there. You haven't even got a uniform yet. Fucking camp hasn't started. They haven't even passed you out warm-up clothes with your fucking name on them, you dummy. He said, quote, "In the long run, it turned out to be the best thing." He had to confront his problem head on by testing. He didn't really confront it.
No.
He just fucking...
He's confronting his problem that basketball is interfering with it.
He mistimed his piss was all it was, his piss tests. And he didn't have Todd Marinovich's Gatorade sunscreen bottles. If you want to know how to pass an NFL piss test, listen to last week's episode on Todd Marinovich.
That one is fascinating.
It's fascinating. It said, he says, at this point, so automatically he's suspended for this immediately. He just got there. And it said that a lot of people didn't give a shit. European teams are offering him huge contracts immediately.
Wow.
Like, you're suspended, come over here, we'll pay you.
Yeah.
Fuck it. They didn't care. They just need an athlete. They didn't give a shit. Over there, they don't care. They'll take anything.
Literally.
Over there. Billy Ray Bates, remember? They were Philippines were happy to have him. He dominated. So Paul Westphal said, quote, "What showed us that Richard was serious was that he passed on all that money in Europe and just went to John Lucas's rehab program. He didn't go into those 30-day wonder programs. There was 3 stages, nearly a full year with John Lucas and others in the rehab field."
How about that?
John Lucas is a coach for the 76ers. And
so he went to this rehab and almost a whole year of that.
Yeah, this whole thing. It's an intensive program. Okay. John Lucas is he's a coach and was a player and a recovering cocaine addict too. And so he had all these rehab centers and he tried to help these players get off coke, basically. So it was tough there. He also at that point he played a little bit in the CBA around just to kind of kick around, averaged 29 points a game, and then he played with John Lucas's had a summer league team that he played with also. John Lucas or Cotton Fitzsimmons said, quote, "Richard is not a criminal. He is not one to hurt others. He is a nice, quiet person. He made a commitment to getting clean," which he didn't do very well at. But
didn't commit at all.
No, not at all. Finally, December 16th, 1992, the NBA clears him to return to the Suns, and the rehab center clears him to return. They say, he's all good. He's good now. Yeah. They literally pulled up in front of the facility, dropped him off like a kid with his fucking backpack on, and said, "He's good now," and then peeled off their tires and drove away. Yeah. And then he walked in and, okay, I guess I'm good now.
He is with a snack pack. Enjoy your day.
That's it. He's got his little lunchbox. Yeah. He's got a juice. I just picture him 6'7" with his little juice box in his hand. Oh, I asked her for Capri Sun, man. Fucking mom.
This Mott's is horse shit.
Damn it, man. Bullshit. I want a Capri. Fuck, never mind. So, February of 1993, he ends up being pulled over for speeding in his Jeep Grand Cherokee. It has the script. It has in script written on it. It says "Doom Boom" for some reason, which is his nickname, which is also tattooed on his left arm.
Is it really?
Doom Boom.
Wow.
I don't know.
And he's got that written across the back window.
Yeah, and Cedric Sabalas said 20 years later, he still saw that car driving around town. It wasn't his anymore, but somebody had it because he saw Doom Boom still on it. He's like, that's fucking hilarious.
That is hilarious.
So, yeah, problem is, he wasn't doing anything bad. He was on the way to the hospital for the birth of his son. He was racing there, so the cops actually gave him an escort.
Very nice.
And took him to the hospital and didn't give him a ticket because he actually had a legitimate reason for going. So he has a son, name?
No.
Richard Jr.
No.
Motherfucker.
He blew it.
He blew it, man. He was in the clear.
He was.
First kid was born. You dodged that bullet.
That's what it is. He didn't have any pride yet.
Nope.
Now he's accomplished something.
Junior.
I'm amazing.
Richard Jr. Yes. That's who you're going to be. Why? I mean, you failed your drug test. You went to rehab. You came out. Things are good. And then you do this? No, man. You're just asking for trouble. Yeah. So, fuck. So, yeah, he has a son named Richard Jr. He messes that up right away, breaks the crime and sports commandment number 1, thou shalt not name your son Jr.
And jumped right, he broke the cycle and then jumped right back in.
Right back in it like a dick. See, it does. Can't help it. 92-93 Phoenix Suns. This is a kind of a magical run here.
This is everything for them.
Yeah, this is, my mom had moved out here the year before. I lived in New York still, but I came out here for summers and Christmas and shit. And I liked the Suns a lot. I went to the first game when Barkley was here, and there was an exhibition game, and I went to that. And Charles Barkley was my favorite player growing up always.
So great.
Him coming here was like, oh my God, it was amazing. Like, my fucking team got my favorite player.
Yeah.
So, that's why I'm bitter at basketball. My teams are the Knicks and the Suns, and I'll never see any winning ever.
Any smiles.
I'll never be happy.
Anytime you get a smile, they dash it for you.
Gone. Going to kill me. It's gone. It's absolutely fucking gone. So the 92-93 Suns, though, almost made us very happy, all of us here. And
meanwhile, John Paxson still probably gets blowjobs.
Yeah, he actually talks about that, too.
Really?
That the Westfall said when they left the huddle there, do not leave Paxson open for 3. Whatever you do, don't leave him open for 3. Let Grant get a layup down low. I don't give a shit. We'll go to overtime. Don't leave Paxson alone out 3. He said that's the only thing we did was leave him fucking alone for 3. So they went in. Horace Grant had a wide open layup. Everybody looked at him to play defense on him. For some reason, he kicked it out to Paxson. Dunk. Perfect. Wide open 3. Done. Bye-bye, son. I remember that kill. Broke my heart as a teenager. That was bad stuff. Well, this team, though, a hot shit team, man. This was great. The roster here, Charles Barkley, obviously, at the top. And this was... It's hard to... We have a lot of young listeners. It might be hard for you to imagine. You see Charles Barkley now. He's like a fat old man sitting there.
A fat, opinionated dick that
is
oftentimes wrong.
You can't picture him running.
No.
You couldn't picture him breaking into a jog right now. This motherfucker 20 years ago, 25 years ago, oh my God, was he nasty. I mean, he could move. He could fly, he could dunk, he could jump, he could shoot. He was nasty as shit. He was so much fun to watch.
It was him and Michael Jordan.
Yeah, they were 1 and 2.
They were the two best
that
in the
was
NBA.
It. And it was and Barkley had the greatest attitude. I loved him. He was a dick, and he was just kind of like, I don't know, leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
I just loved him.
Yeah.
You know, he was I always liked the second guy.
Yeah.
I always liked
the mouth too.
Yeah. I didn't like Tony Hawk. I liked Mike McGill. I didn't like Michael Jordan. I liked Charles Barkley.
All
like
right.
that's, you know what I'm saying? I'm always like
I was like the guy nobody else liked. Like Dennis Rodman was my favorite.
Yeah, he's great, obviously. Yeah. Yeah, but
everybody loves the Bulls, and everybody's like, I like Michael Jackson or Michael Jackson. I like Michael Jordan. Or I like Scottie Pippen. But I was always the ugly weird guy was just always my favorite.
Yeah, well, that's always fun too. The guy who's especially like Rodman, who was a nut in the way he
just
played,
just a problem everywhere.
No, he's great.
Yeah.
Danny Ainge on this team, who runs teams now.
Unbelievable.
Cedric Sabalas, who we've talked about. Tom Chambers, who is still on this team.
No kidding.
Yeah, absolutely. Chambers, Kevin Johnson, and Frank Johnson.
Yep.
The Johnson twins there, who are not twins. So Dan Marley, Oliver Miller, Kurt Rambis, Mark West.
Wow.
This was a fucking squad.
Was Hot Rod Williams on that team? Or was he
not yet. Not yet. He came a couple years after that. This was, Mark West and Oliver Miller were the centers on this squad. And then they had Jared Mustaf, too, who came in.
Jesus, he was terrible.
He's a mess, too, that guy. He's got problems. He could be an episode.
Oh, boy.
So in his first game Dumas played, he played in 17 minutes. He had 16 points.
Wow.
Which is fucking hot shit off the bench. That's instant offense.
Yeah.
16 points in 17 minutes in a game against the Lakers. In his fifth game, he scored 27 at Denver in a game against Denver, and they had to start him. Paul Westphal said, quote, Richard is not only is physically gifted, he really knows the game and is fundamentally sound. For him to come out at mid-season and start for us, that's remarkable.
Absolutely.
He wasn't playing. He was playing in the USBL like 3 months before that, dicking around, and now he comes into the NBA and just fucking pops on the court and starts dominating. Look up highlights of this guy. It's fucking impressive. The guy is amazing. Like I can't say enough for his lost potential.
What is that starting lineup? Is it Barkley, Dumas, West?
It's KJ. It should be KJ, Marley, West, Dumas at the small, and Barkley at the power.
That's a pretty good lineup.
It's a pretty good fucking lineup. That's a lineup that runs a lot. We're weak at center, and Barkley's a small guy. We're weak down low.
Oh, yeah.
Because Mark West is 6'10", and he wasn't even a big center. No. He didn't play big, and Barkley's goddamn 6'4", and those are our rebounders.
And that's why every time a center got the ball, they called a foul because he was too little and couldn't do it.
They just jump on him.
Right.
So, John Lucas, who was coaching San Antonio at the time and who did his rehab stint there, he said, quote, he's Dr. J with a jump shot.
Oh, boy.
A lock for the 96 Dream Team. Dr. J with a jump shot. Do you understand what that, like, out there? I know, Jimmie, you do. Dr. J is he's Dr. J.
Right.
How many basketball players do you know by a nickname and that... Most people don't even know his fucking name. That's how good he is.
The man
Dr. J.
He has a PhD in basketball.
In basketballology.
Good.
Fucking Dr. J. I mean, that's a bad motherfucker, but he could fly through the air like Dr. J. He's about that size, that mid-range, 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", like Dr. J was, where he could kind of do anything. He could play a guard. He could play a forward, fly through the air, but Dumas could shoot from the outside.
Yeah.
Dr. J shot like shit all through his prime years. He got better later. But
I'm remembering Richard Dumas with hair, and he was really, really good, and then he shaved his head, and I was like, who the fuck is that, right?
I think later on he did,
He shaved his head, and he had a weird fucking head.
Well, you want to hate him even more now because we liked him, and I wanted a Richard Dumas jersey and everything. Like, I dug this motherfucker. He was, at one point, and we'll talk about what made it fall through, he was part of a deal that was ready to go, that would have sent Dennis Rodman to the Suns in 1990.
You son of a
in
bitch.
1992. They would have had Dennis fucking Rodman through the mid 90s, and instead, when he went to the Bulls, and instead he ended up going to the Bulls.
Everyone out there should listen to Small Town Murder. You really should, mainly because you never know who's next door. And that's the point of this show, really. You never know who is next door. You never know what's going to happen on Small Town Murder. That's what makes it so wonderful. The only thing you do know is that people are going to die, and we're probably going to make jokes about it. That's it. That's all we can promise you. We dig into these towns. We see what makes them tick, from local legends to scandals they may have had. And, of course, the biggest scandals of all, horrible murders that take place there. and we put our, what I feel is a completely appropriate comedic spin on the whole thing. And you know you need a laugh right now, so get in there, listen to Small Town Murder. Follow Small Town Murder on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Small Town Murder early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
But that was the trade. They were happy. They couldn't wait to get Richard Dumas, and then he gets busted again later, and the whole deal falls through.
That's how it fell apart?
That's how it fell apart. God. That's how Rodman went to the Bulls.
Damn you!
So that Bulls dynasty, Dennis Rodman was a big part of that fucking dynasty. That is because Richard Dumas can't stop doing coke. That was not this. That team would not have been that team if this wouldn't have happened.
How weird would that have been that your favorite comes here and my favorite comes here?
I would have loved that. I love Dennis Rodman. We wouldn't have known
each other back then. That's
love it, man.
Who would have been playing power? I guess he would have played center or small forward.
It doesn't even matter at that point. Who cares?
Barkley
Throw him out
Rodman.
there. Dude, no one's getting... Those are the two top rebounders in the league, Barkley and Rodman. That's it.
The ball misses. It's
20 rebounds, 15 a game. 35 boards a game between these two. Good luck. They don't give a shit about offensive side. Because, Mark West didn't score for shit either. Put Rodman down there. Who cares?
Man, he was a horrible free throw shooter.
Oh,
he didn't score a fucking thing.
No, he wasn't a good scorer at all.
He was just a body on the floor.
But, fuck, man. So, he was that good. Oliver Miller, you might remember him, the overweight Suns center.
Bizarre man.
He said, quote, Richard could have been one of those guys like Kobe or LeBron. He had that kind of talent. Barkley called him unstoppable. He said, quote, he's just amazing. He said, quote, he's probably the most talented player I ever played with, but he had those demons with the drugs. So, which sounded like an old man.
Yeah.
Had them demons with the drugs. Tell you what, these young kids with their drugs all the time.
I can hear Barkley say that.
Yeah. Got a problem with the drugs. Yeah. That's how he'd say it, though.
The
drugs. Like an old... His talk is...
he's a good man. He's got a problem with the dogs.
With the drug. His speech has gotten so much older. He sounds like such an old man now.
And through the teeth. It's so weird.
He's a weird dude. So they talk about him, like one game, he's very emotional too. One game they said the team won a triple overtime game, but they didn't really play him in the overtimes. So they said he was visibly upset. Paul Westphal said, quote, every player, if they feel they're going good and they get removed from the game unless they're too tired to keep going, they don't like it. Some players learn to hide their feelings a little better than others, and Richard does wear his feelings on his sleeve. But as long as he's ready to play when he goes back in there, I can live with a little bit of that. So he's too good to break his balls about sulking, is what he said. Who gives a shit? In the 92-93 season, he plays in 48 games, 32 games started, so that's a lot. 15.8 points a game, which was just what he had in college, just in the NBA now. 4.6 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 1.8 steals still, so starting fucking 0.8 blocks too, so he'll still get up there. The Suns end up, like we said, having a very good year. They go 62-20, which is great. First round of the playoffs, they beat the Lakers 3-2. That was the end of there. That's when they had to restart. That was the reset button on the Lakers. They beat the Spurs 4-2 in the.
That was a good team.
That's like a real good team. Then they beat the Sonics. That was the best team. The Peyton and Kemp Sonics.
The best Sonics they ever had.
They were really good here. They beat them in a 7-game series too. That was a brutal series. I remember that. And then they go to the Bulls to play in the finals. And game 6, where John Paxson hit a 3-pointer that we were talking about earlier and broke the Suns. Otherwise, they almost almost had. It was close. It was close.
And they still did a parade.
That's what I was like. That's joke. What are you doing a fucking parade for?
We're proud to lose. Fuck you.
Yeah. Well, Game 5 the Suns were facing elimination. Dumas was 12 of 14 shooting and scored 25 points on Scottie Pippen
in the finals.
12 of 14 with Pippen. Pippen's a good defensive player, especially back then. He was still had legs. Holy shit! I mean, he just owned Scottie Pippen. No, you couldn't guard him. 25 on 2 of 14 shooting. 12 of 14 shooting is nasty.
That's incredible. He missed 2 shots.
He missed 2 shots. Yeah, that's pretty fucking impressive, and that helps the Suns, not be eliminated. Problem is, when they were in Chicago, there was reports coming in that Dumas was seen in a bar near the team's hotel drinking by himself. That's not good for recovering. Drinking by himself.
Yeah.
He wasn't even like out partying, trying to get, whatever.
Take booze to your room.
He was drinking by himself. Yeah, not good. Reports get back about that, and that's obviously not terrific. But he makes $140,000 for that season because he was there short, prorated. But he has such a good season, and that finals performance made him a fucking star.
Yeah, it did.
The Suns gave him, the end of the season, a 5-year, $9 million contract.
Oh, my God.
Which was great for then. Only thing is he's to be drug tested daily.
Yeah.
Which is...
because that buys a shitload of cocaine.
That buys a lot of cocaine and a lot of real easy ways to fuck up. And let's say grace. $9 million, drug tested daily, grace.
Daily.
Grace. It's not going to go any further than this without grace. What are we kidding here? Give me a goddamn break.
If you are in a position, a professional something, you're being paid to do it, and your boss drug tests you daily.
They do not trust you.
Good morning, Richard. Pissing this. What?
Every time you see that guy, you see his cock before you have coffee. Every time. That's amazing.
7 gander at your cock.
He just walks into the facility with his dick hanging out.
I know what y'all want.
Hand out for a cup. Where is it? So $9 million. Everything's great. The summer of 1993.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Fucking Wu-Tang albums coming out. Fucking Nas. This is a wonderful summer. He's gonna get $9 million. Just had a great game in the finals. Things couldn't be going any better for him. And then September 15th, 1993 rolls around, which is 3 months later. There. He is right after his contract. And the team says, quote, Richard has come forward to tell us he has a drug problem. We are aware that he has chosen not to cooperate with his counselors as of right now. So he just comes and he's like, I've been fucking up. I've been doing coke. I'm not going to do what you say. I'll see you later.
I'm not going to stop.
And leaves.
I got to go.
Did I mention I'm going to go do more coke? Because I am. That's what I got going on. There's a lot of it, too.
What was the...
I got a fucking pile of it back there. It's awesome. $9 million. I bought my signing bonus. I just did it in coke.
I got so much coke, you guys.
I just traded the check for coke and signed it to this guy, and he said, I'll give you that much in cocaine.
What was the epiphany? Sitting down with that mound, starting it, and then going, I'm going to fail.
Yeah,
I'm definitely not going to... I should just go tell him.
I should just tell him that I'm doing this. That way I'll just keep doing it, I guess. I don't know.
I admire the honesty.
That's what they were. They were very we all had this tacit agreement that you do coke and we pretend like you're doing fine and you're clean and you score 25 points in the finals and then everybody's fine.
We do everything all over again next year.
You're fucking this up by you don't come to me and say I have a problem because then you might get help, which will then mean you're not around here, and then how are you going to score 25 points in the finals? How silver is my hair? Are you looking at this? Because I need you.
Solve this problem because I'm just going to do the coke.
Yeah.
What about the basketball? No. I'm just doing the coke.
Doesn't
chosen
matter.
that over this.
It's fucking ridiculous.
This is crazy.
And they say his eligibility will ultimately be decided by a league-sanctioned team of league-sanctioned drug counselors, not the team, as per the league's anti-drug agreement, which we'll get into specifically in a minute. The anti-drug agreement. Jerry Colangelo, who at the time was the owner of the Suns, said, quote, if they came to me and said Richard is ready to come back, I would have a serious problem. It's got to be a two-way street. He has a problem, a very serious problem. We'll be supportive of Richard. We wish wish him the very best, but we can't count him in our plans. So, that's actually at least honest. So apparently the drug counselors said he checked himself into a substance abuse treatment center in Houston, admitted his problems. They advised him to check into the adult substance abuse center program in suburban LA, where the league sends players for initial treatment. And he said no and just went home to Tulsa instead. That's the place you go.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to go where I'll just go home where I know everybody and where the coke is plentiful and it flows like water. Are you fucking kidding me?
Hasn't he ever heard about LA? There's coke everywhere.
Hasn't he ever heard of crime in sports? Don't go home.
Right.
You've already named your kid Junior. Now you're going home. What the fuck is next, man?
Incredible.
Enough already. Jesus Christ. So, he sought treatment like that. He's a mess at the moment here. His agent said, quote, "We're concerned about Richard's medical problems. Richard felt he needed further help from John Lucas and his people in recovery. That's why he voluntarily checked back in. At this point, we don't know what action the NBA will take as far as Richard seeking further help." So they're trying to, I don't know, his agent's trying to
turn it into something that it's not.
Yeah,
first of
something
all.
positive.
Making it fucking medical issue. No. Your boy's on drugs, bro.
He got a bunch of money and decided that he liked coke.
Right.
Well, he's sitting there going,
issue.
I just like the smell of it. You know what I'm saying? He's doing one of those.
It's a priority issue.
Hey, man, I don't like coke, man. I just like the smell of it, babe.
This is a guy with 2 children.
Oh, yeah.
And
one of them named after him.
A very lucrative career.
Sort of.
Coke. Coke.
It's about coke, Jimmy. I'm good now. More cocaine.
Right.
He said, quote, his agent also said, quote, "I talked to Richard on Monday and he said his plans are to return to the Lucas Center. This is all precipitated by Richard asking for help." Counseling substance abuse patients, it's a traumatic, exhausting process. I certainly think it's premature to say Richard is not cooperating with his counselors. I think John Lucas agrees with me also. Then Jerry Colangelo said, quote, "He has to be a willing participant in the treatment program, and thus far he hasn't been. Right now, if I were he, I'd be in that program as quickly as possible. He has to report. Maybe he doesn't have the ability to make that decision. It's an insidious disease."
Good Lord.
Wow, fucking Colangelo hates his guts.
He really does.
He's like, "You piece of shit. You piece of garbage." Colangelo's like fucking Vince McMahon. "You get off the court and put these overalls on. I've had it with you.
You're never going to be a real estate mogul like me."
Never.
Now that man, he owns fucking everything.
Yeah,
he has
does.
so much land.
Owns everything.
He just owns Phoenix.
I got an idea. Buy the Suns again and make them not shit. How's that? For the love of Christ. Someone. I don't care who buys the Suns.
Somebody take Sarver hostage.
Fuck. I don't care if Kim Jong-un buys the Suns. Make them better. I'm tired. And the Knicks. Buy them both. Fucking line Dolan up in front of a fucking firing squad and get him out of there like you do with your ministry of whatever the fuck political people and fix them.
You have that leprechaun that owns the
Suns.
Don't
care.
Like $2 million more than it's worth. Go upside down and fix this.
Jeez,
go underwater and fucking come out smiling. Fix it.
Ridiculous.
It's all bullshit.
Now, the thing here is, though, this counts only as his first strike. NBA is a 3-strike policy. This counts only as the first strike because the previous first strike was before he was actually under a league contract.
Got it.
So it was right before he signed, so that didn't count.
His previous first strike
didn't count.
Which should be his second strike.
There was some garbage blowing behind the pitcher, so the ump called timeout before the pitcher wound up, and he didn't notice it. So, he just said, Colangelo says there's no timetable, and he's not playing for us right now. Don't know what the fuck to tell you. No timetable for release. When he's released, it won't be to play basketball. There will be a reacclimation period as late as it is in the season. He won't be back this season. So they're saying basically you're fucking done for the year, 93-94. So he said, all I can say is I hope Richard gets his problem ironed out. That stuff must be more horrible than we can imagine. Nobody can understand why he made the decision that he has apparently made. It must be some horrible, powerful stuff. It's cocaine. Yeah, it's both of those things. You could have called it three. Beautiful, horrible, powerful stuff. That's what you could call cocaine. That's because that's how people take it.
I like Colangelo pretending like he probably didn't try it before.
Yeah.
Stop it,
It must be powerful, horrible stuff. I'd never snorted off a black prostitute's hindquarters, ever. That's never happened.
Somewhere.
Never. No. While other NBA owners cheer me on. Never happened before in my life. Never. And pour 25-year-old scotch over my head. It's never happened.
The guy from Miami, whoever owns the Heat, certainly gave him some. I'm sure of it.
And we told her to take those pants down. We're going to do cocaine off your bare ass. So
we can see it better.
The anti-drug policy. The first strike is he is suspended without pay until league-sanctioned drug counselors approve his return. If he refuses to cooperate or with the counselors, the whole suspension is without pay if he refuses to cooperate. The second strike is a subsequent voluntary admission of drug use. The player is suspended without pay until drug counselors approve his return to play. So he will not make any money for this season. He just signed that contract and they won't give him a dime.
Oh, no.
Because that's in it. The third strike results in lifetime banishment from the NBA. The player must apply for reinstatement after 2 years, but it's not automatic. So he can apply after 2 years. And it says if the league suspects a player of drug use, it may present evidence to an independent expert. If probable cause is found, the player may be tested. A positive drug test results in immediate lifetime banishment, regardless of whether the player has any strikes in the voluntary program.
Regardless.
The player may apply for reinstatement after 2 years. Yeah, if they have to hunt you down, trying to get you to volunteer. So the 93-94 team, he's suspended. The team still goes 56-26. Yeah. They beat the Warriors in the first round, swept them 3-0, and then lost to that fucking nasty Rockets team in the second round. The Rockets go on to win the championship. And
Vernon Maxwell?
Vernon Maxwell, goddamn right. Akeem Olajuwon, nasty.
Kenny the Jet Smith.
That's right. Suspended here, so he's suspended the whole time. He says, well, let's do it in their own words. What do you say? Let's find out what's on Richard's mind and what he's going through here. He says, quote, in their own words, quote, the only people I ever knew was my family back home, so I wasn't with anybody in Phoenix but Oliver Miller. Me and him hung out sometimes. Other than that, I never really messed with anybody. I think it was a lack of maturity. I took care of myself all that time and trying so hard to get there that I feel like I was on top of the world. I think it was a lack of maturity. I would say, yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. Lack of fucking maturity. Now, he says that much later, by the way, obviously. March of 1994, he moves his wife and 2 sons to Phoenix because they had left and gone to Tulsa. Right. And he was in Houston and anticipating his return to the Suns. He goes to the program and he participates and he ends up cooperating. And John Lucas
that it cost him over $1 million.
Yeah,
this is going to sting.
I feel like John Lucas said, "Are you fucking stupid, man?" And friends, even Oliver Miller's like, I love that contract. You out of your goddamn mind? Get your ass back here.
I wish I had that money.
Yeah. So he's back on March of 1994. He's anticipating return to the Suns. Everything looks good. April 19th, 1994, Dumas, he's in the parking lot of a city park. He's in a park in Phoenix, near like basketball and volleyball courts. And he's got a Jeep Cherokee, with the stereo audible from 300 feet away.
Oh boy.
I guess the law is that, it can't be heard from more than 50 feet away. Okay. I guess it's like across the park. He's fucking bumping his system. Who gives a shit? And it's 1994. There's good music out to bump in 94.
Oh, Jesus. The Chronic is out.
Fuck, that's old. That's been out for like 2.5 years. That's fucking old. Not where I was from. That was lame as shit. Fuck that shit. Fucking Method Man's new album was almost out. Right. That was like 94, 95 after Wu-Tang. Yeah. Biggie just came out. First Biggie, Nas, fucking Mobb Deep. All this shit came out. Crazy on the East Coast.
I was thinking about Tupac's All Eyes on Me. I don't know if that came out
95, I want to say. I think that's the next year that came out. I got that. There's a lot of shit.
There's good stuff going on.
Yeah. A lot of stuff happening right now.
Gangsta rap is in its heyday.
Yeah. There's a lot to blare out of your system. You can't help it. Good bass lines and like old cool beats.
The best ones.
Yes. Well, anyway, he's cited for violating a noise ordinance, and then they figure out that he is also wanted on a failure to appear for a 2-year-old speeding ticket that he never took care of, and he's arrested for that, like a fucking idiot in the park. So he pays $106 bond, $106.50, and released. Getting there.
Just for reference, do you know which park it was?
They did not say which park it was.
Which one.
But I do have some very specific Phoenix information later on a future crime.
I'm gonna love it.
You're gonna like it. So 94-95 Suns roster. Now he's back on the team again here. This team goes 59-23. They go to the playoffs. They sweep the Trailblazers in the first round, and then again another heartbreaking 7-game series to the Rockets, who go on to win again. They were just unstoppable. You were not. You weren't denying Akeem in those years. It just wasn't happening. Especially if you had Mark West as your center.
Right.
It's not.
The only one getting close was David Robinson.
Yeah,
and he still couldn't do it.
Shaq was good at that time, but Olajuwon was so skilled.
And Shaq
Ewing
was
really good at that time too. Yeah, Ewing was still really good at that time too.
In the East too.
In the East too. Yeah, in the West he was the center to beat.
Olajuwon's going to the championship every year.
And he did for a while there. So 94-95 for Richard Dumas, though. He plays in 15 games. He starts 1. He averages 5.5 points a game, 1.9 rebounds, 1.5 an assist, not even a whole steal. Just not the same guy. I mean, he hasn't played in a year too, so they got to work him in there. But he makes $1.3 million.
Wow!
So that's what his contract's for.
Jesus!
So that's a lot of cocaine, baby.
Yeah,
that's good shit.
And didn't have to do shit.
No, you're looking at that in the bank, and you're like, well then, I'm going out tonight.
What am I doing with all this basketball?
Papa needs a new pair of shoes with coke in them. Yeah. Those new Coke bottom shoes they got. So May 18th, 1995, right at the end of the season, or right before the end of the season, the Suns waive him.
Oh, no.
So he's released by the Suns. He says that the release came because he missed a drug test when he called the team. Yeah. This is what he said. I called him to tell him that I wouldn't be there because I was on vacation.
Right.
I went on what had happened? Yeah. I went on vacation, and they wanted me to drug, but I called them, but nobody answered. That's what he said. He said I called
the answering machine.
He said I couldn't reach anyone in the entire Suns organization. I couldn't reach anyone. No one had a voicemail set up. It's 95. Right, There's no answering machines, no voicemails. There's no receptionist.
They got pagers, goddammit.
No receptionist you can leave a message with. Nothing. Yeah. I called. It just kept ringing. So I said, fuck it. I'm on vacation. Never mind. No. That's the worst excuse. You can get a hold of a professional sports. He could have called the ticket office.
Sure.
They're open all the time. They would have answered, hey, how you doing? Richard? Sure. Well, that's fine. They would have transferred him right up the fucking line. They would have found somebody there for him. Call someone.
They'll get you to Al McCoy on the radio.
Somebody.
I guarantee it.
Yeah, but he said, it was just a misunderstanding. He says at this point, quote, I said, I know they're paying me a lot, but this is too stressful. That's what he said about having to make a phone call.
That's too many phone calls.
I can't make a phone call. Tell people I'm going on. I have to tell you I'm going on vacation. That's too stressful. Why do you think I'm going on vacation? All these fucking phone calls, man.
Trying to get away from this shit.
Shit, man. You guys keep just making me make phone calls. For $1.3 million a year, I got to make phone calls now, too. I got to dunk and make phone calls? Fuck, man.
Am I a receptionist?
Yeah.
What am I?
He said, yeah, I know they're paying me a lot, but this is too stressful. It was nerve-wracking. They pay you to do that work, but that's work. After work, leave me alone. I just got tired of it. His thing was the daily testing. He's like, after work, let me do a bunch of cocaine. Leave me the fuck. Literally what he said. He's like, I get while I'm there, I'm not allowed to be high. Right. Totally understandable. I get that. But when I get off work, I'm going to fucking do shitloads of cocaine. How does that affect you?
Well, my personal time, it's none of your business.
My time.
Right.
Coke time. Dumas's Coke time, damn it. Dickie's Coke time.
You get a contract like that, that is all their time.
It's all there. That's a lot of money.
You don't get a time off.
That's a lot of fucking money. So September of 21st, 1995, the 76ers take a chance on him, and that is because Lucas is now the 76ers coach and general manager.
Now it makes sense.
So they said, we like this guy, and he knows how talented he is, and he knows, his problems.
Yeah.
He said...
Allen Iverson isn't there, though, right?
Not yet. No. He comes...
Who do they have right now?
Did he get there by now? 95?
I don't think so.
He just start. 97 was his rookie year or
was
some
it?
shit.
I don't remember.
I want to say he was in Georgetown in 96.
Okay.
Think so. But this was a rebuilding team for the Sixers. He said that Dumas, his troubles are in his past. It's all behind him now. He's good now.
Yeah.
Imagine announcing that this guy's good now. I'd be like, I don't know. You should ask him. But he seems all right. He's not high this minute, I don't think, anyway. He says that he's going to bring excitement to the 76ers, which is true.
Well, Derek Coleman's there. They've got excitement.
Yeah, well, he says, quote, Richard Dumas is a guy I think who has his life in order. When you're talking about basketball and talent, there aren't many people more talented than Richard Dumas. And they said that just because he had problems in the past doesn't mean he shouldn't be allowed to build a future, which true. Yeah. He says, quote, what should I tell you, that I pass on guys like Richard Dumas for having some of the same problems that I had, that all of us have as a community? I should pass and let somebody else get him because the coach happens to be recovering. So he's like, no, just because I'm here and I'm taking the coke, guys. Because also on this team with him is Vernon Maxwell.
Oh, Jesus.
So this is, there's so many players on this team because guys came in and out. Sean Bradley's on this team. Vernon Maxwell, Derek Coleman, Greg Grant, not even Gary Grant, not even the good one. They have Greg Grant and Jeff Malone, not Gary Grant and Karl Malone. That's amazing. That's awesome, man. Ed Pickney, who was fucking pretty good. Scotty Skiles, who...
He's great.
Great coach and good three-point shooter. Clarence Weatherspoon. A lot of guys on this team here. Doesn't matter. This team sucks. They're fucking terrible.
All at the end.
18-64 this team was. This is a mess. If you see an NBA team with 22 players that played on their roster that year, they're a mess.
Oh, my God.
That's a disaster. That's not a good squad. They're terrible. Their attendance that year, this is for the whole season, 476,016 people. 28th of 29 teams.
Ouch.
Second to fucking last.
Who had least?
Probably that time. Jesus, I don't even know. Vancouver, maybe.
Bucks,
maybe. That's why they moved them. They were new still, though. Maybe the Bucks.
Maybe
I'm not
the Nuggets.
Sure. The Clippers.
Oh, yeah.
They were a mess, and the Lakers were good. It was probably the Clippers.
That's what it was.
That's weird.
They probably had 7 people, and they were all season ticket holders.
Probably.
All season
long. Some shit like that. So who knows here? Turns out, though, he's at one point, Dumas is kind of lethargic, and Lucas says, I don't understand why he's lethargic. I mean, I get that he doesn't have coke in his system and that, but shit, what the fuck here? He says that he spent time trying to ignite a spark in Dumas, and he hasn't seen one. He says, quote, I told Richard this was the last house on the block. I told him, Richard, if you can't play for me, you can't play for anybody.
Oh, no.
He said, I was a cokehead.
Yeah.
I'm the guy who takes you in when you're a fucking mess.
I'm it.
If I'm not going to do it, nobody else is. I'm the only guy who'll take a chance on you here.
Coach Carl's going to put up with this shit?
No, I love that. Last house on the block, he told him it was. This is it, man. He plays in 39 games, starts 14 of them, 18.9 minutes per game, 6.2 points, 2.5 rebounds, 1.1 assists, 1.1 steals. Not terrific. And that's the last time he'll play in the NBA.
That's it.
102 total games, averaged 10.6 points, 3.4 rebounds, 1.1 assists, 1.3 steals, and that doesn't even...
4 seasons?
That's it. 3 he actually played in. The 4th when he was suspended. And that so doesn't tell the tale of this guy. You can watch him in one game and just go, oh, wow, how the hell did that? Wow, okay.
You know, it's shocking because he was so good, and anybody that watched basketball in that time knows who the fuck he is.
Oh, because he was...
and he got, that's it.
Yeah, he could have been...
He was so fast in the NBA, and you know who he is.
And you know who he... That's how amazing he was. 25 points in a finals game on Scottie Pippen going 12 of 14 from the floor. And later on, too, when they were interviewing guys about it, Jordan said, I don't know why we're not covering that fucking guy. Like, we need to play better defense on that guy because he's killing us right now.
Who?
Yeah.
We don't even know who he is
He's
yet.
just talking shit about Pippen there, and Pippen's like, what? Hey, fuck you, Jordan. You fucking cover him then. Eat
Everybody
shit.
that doesn't buy your jersey buys mine. Shut up.
You're covering Marley, for Christ's sake. Guy's slower than a fucking Buick, and you're guarding a Buick, and I'm guarding fucking this guy jumping over my head like he's off a trampoline, you asshole.
The least athletic guy in the NBA, you're covering him.
Tell you what, let's bet how many points he's going to have tomorrow. What do you say, Mikey? Want to bet? Wink, wink, wink. Oh, we're not talking about that because it's only 93. Yeah, all right, fine, motherfucker. That's cool. Oh, that's all right. You be perfect, bitch.
Unbelievable.
Wow. He plays. Jesus, he plays for the 76ers.
He does get a pass for everything.
He does. Yeah, it's fucking unreal.
Good God.
Everything he does. Yeah, Jordan's, he wore a Hitler mustache. We've talked about that. Everybody has. And people are like, well, no, Jordan gets a pass. So he's released by the 76ers here, and he says, quote, "I just played for fun and was blessed to do it. I didn't get caught up in all that. People took it more serious than I wanted. Basketball ain't my problem. Life was. It was off the court I had my problem. This has been a lifelong thing. I lost interest. I got bored with basketball." Well,
wow.
Lots of people get bored with their jobs, but they still have to do them because they want to make a fucking living, especially if they had a $9 million contract.
Because I got to pay for things. I got kids to feed.
If I had a 5-year, $9 million contract, could be for any, I would go around just rousing homeless men while they slept to clean their assholes. That would be I would do it for that. That's my job. City asshole cleaner. I go around, just find the dirtiest homeless people I could find and just wake them up and just get it with a toothbrush. Really fucking scrub it good. And man, there you go. All better. And then put them back together.
And slam a Sun's bumper sticker on his cheek. Like, compliments of the Sun, sir.
$9 million? I am the best asshole washer in this that this city's ever seen. I'm going to be the best. This guy, I'm bored. Just bored with it.
Every wrinkle of that balloon knot will be spotless.
Scrub. And it's like, who could just play basketball? It's fun. What's wrong with you?
When I was at that time period, I would have lost
$9 million.
If somebody said that phrase to my face, I would have kicked him in the dick.
Yeah.
Are you out of your fucking mind?
$9 million? Jesus.
You idiot.
And he says that, and it's so funny. It's a front because he can't just say, I just was more interested in coke right then, because that's what it was. Because that year in 1996, he goes to Europe to play. Yeah. So he wasn't bored with basketball. Nope. He was bored with getting drug tested every day. He didn't like that. He liked fucking doing coke and playing basketball together. These things go together for me. It's like peanut butter and jelly, and you're going to tell me no jelly?
Coke and basketball.
Fuck, man. So
it's a delicious sandwich.
It's a good sandwich. So 96 through 98, he's got a bunch of 96 through 99ish, a bunch of mess here. He goes to Croatia. He plays center there because he can jump, and he's, it's Croatia.
Yeah. Isn't that where Tony Kukoc is from?
That's absolutely where he's from.
What was he playing?
He's playing for the Bulls at that point.
I mean, what was he? What position did he play there? The hoop.
Well, he couldn't. Well, Kukoc was like 6'9".
Was he?
Yeah, I don't think he didn't have the ups like.
I thought he was so much bigger than that.
Dumas was one of those dudes that could touch the top of the backboard type of guy. Like,
but I picture
insane.
But Dumas wasn't. He's
6'7".
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's not
a monster. Tony Kukoc was like 7'2".
No. He was a small forward. Small forward.
Oh, so Luke Longley was playing center then?
Absolutely, and Bill Wennington and all those fucking stiffs. They had a trio of stiffs. No.
Horace Grant. That's all right. We can move on.
That's who the goggles, baby.
That's who the center was.
No, he was a power forward.
Really?
Ho Grant's a 4. Yeah.
No.
The Bulls teams, their 5 was Wennington, Longley, those Will Purdue, fucking bums. Yeah. If there was a schlubby white guy who was over 6'10", they'd get him.
Playing center.
No, he was a small forward.
Shoot threes too.
He could. Yeah, he was a small forward. Yeah. So he goes to play in Croatia there, and then he hurts his knee. And he says, he hurts his knee, and then he says he kind of lost his passion, but he ends up coming back again. 1998, he gets divorced from his wife. I don't know how she stood this long in the whole thing. This is the same wife from the 2 kids, so she's been through quite a bit. He ends up going to play in Greece for Gymnastikos Larissos.
Oh, boy.
I don't know what the fuck that is, but that's the team he plays for.
Larissos?
Larissos.
Okay, so it's the gymnasium sponsored by Reese's Pieces.
Apparently, in Greece. He plays for them. Okay. He also plays in Poland.
Oh,
and
no.
The team in Poland was like their dynasty team, their greatest team ever in Poland. Okay. This was like the best Polish team going there. And the coach there said, quote, "We all knew Richard was a talent, but it was also a troubled soul as well." Okay. That's one way of putting it. He says, like all coaches, you have that moment when you're trying to maximize a situation and find that one player, the diamond in the rough that can change your fortunes. And he says, it was fucking Dumas for him. You can get this guy in Poland and get his head halfway screwed on straight. He can play. So he said he dominated his first practice in Poland. Everyone was like, holy shit. And he says, quote, "It was all downhill from there." So not terrific.
He interviews well.
He does. He's a good first impression guy, and then after that, he's got to follow through on things, and that's hard. The coach said, quote, he was on his last legs. He was struggling, but in games or in practice, every once in a while, there'd be a possession where he'd do something like, holy crap, how did this guy just do that? Imagine if he just took care of himself. He said it wasn't a secret. You knew he'd been up most of the night. He wore it where everybody knew he wasn't taking care of himself. And then he'd go out, take 2 dribbles from 24 feet and just tomahawk dunk on top of 2 7-foot Polish guys. And you'd be like, oh my God, what the hell is that? He'd come in all fucked up and haggard and then just be like, dribble, fucking, I'm just going to jump over you still. He still had the athleticism. Yeah. That's the thing. If you're 25, you can do fucking coke and still come out and tomahawk dunk on 2 fucking 7-foot Polacks. No problem. It's no problem. Fine. Everybody's happy.
The word Polak. Go on.
That's fine. Whatever. So,
it's so funny.
It is. So, he fails to, there were certain times where he just wouldn't show up for games. Or he'd
for
show
games?
Up, just not show up for a game. God. I don't know. I was busy. I tried to call.
Yeah.
And nobody answered. It's so weird. This team.
Larry, we need you.
People, stay by your phones. I might need to call you. So the coach would have to come in and play guard. So the coach was an ex-player, and he'd have to be like, well, I'll get my shorts on then. This fucking asshole won't show up.
Can you imagine Paul Westphal pulls off
Oh, my God. Fuck it. I'm going in. Like a stripper.
Yeah.
Shorts on underneath. I thought this might happen.
Breakaway Dockers.
I would love that shit. That'd be amazing. That's what basically fucking happened here.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, they said though people liked him. It wasn't the problem. It was just that he was not dependable.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing about drugs. They make you likable and fun.
And not dependable.
But you won't show up on time.
And he wasn't even funny. He just kept to himself. He didn't bother anybody. He was just like, as long as he had his coke, as long as he had his medicine, he's fucking cool. Like, it's fine. So December 23rd, 1998. The Christmas season.
Yeah.
Bells are ringing.
It's upon us.
Things are jingling.
In Poland, it's cold.
Well, he's back here now. He's back in a Tulsa motel room, as a matter of fact. Yeah. Everybody want to live in a Tulsa motel room? Because that's where Richard Dumas is living in 1998. Christmas. Oh, aren't you feeling the spirit?
You say Tulsa hotel room. And
no.
Motel.
Motel. There's a difference. Say Tulsa motel room. Santa Claus will not find you there.
Yeah.
He will assume you've been murdered by a crackhead and are now a chalk outline.
He'll just assume that you are not being a good boy.
Yeah, you must not be a good boy
you are
to end up
definitely on
there.
the naughty list.
Who's down there doing drugs and fucking prostitutes? All of the people in that motel.
In Tulsa.
Who's a hotel I can let you slide. Not a motel in Tulsa.
Those 2 words together, Tulsa motel, give me like the worst whiskey shiver ever. Like a disgusting whiskey. It's just, Jesus.
Not good. Jesus Christ.
I need a bath.
Oh, God. So he is he's in a Tulsa motel.
Yeah.
When police officers arrive to serve an outstanding misdemeanor. They must have nothing to do in Tulsa. I know in Phoenix they have warrants backed up for years for child molesters and shit that they say they, quote, don't have time to serve.
Right.
These people have time to go around to motel rooms to serve misdemeanor warrants for failure to pay a fine for a no seatbelt charge on a ticket.
I imagine the motel clerk.
No seatbelt.
The motel clerk is taking that registration and just faxing it over to the police every time. If you get a motel in Tulsa, that's what they do.
It's kind of like when you pawn something expensive and they have to do it's one of those things. Like they're just, I got to fax this off to the cops. Sorry. If you're staying here, the cops have to know about it. They know you're doing something bad. So they show up to serve this warrant for this, which is really picky. I mean, I'm sorry, but Jesus Christ, if you run into him, great. But don't go looking for a guy over. We got to bust out. Can you imagine them pulling up? All right, we're going to do this. We're going to do. All right, you knock, you get my back. Yeah, you cover. What are you doing? Inviting conflict?
Getting in the trunk for shotguns and shit.
That's what I mean. This is not necessary. But when police, when he opens the door, police in the room see drug paraphernalia and all sorts of stuff. And they find a bag, and in it are some rocks. And guess what they are, Jimmy?
Crack.
It's crack.
Yeah.
He's got crack in a Tulsa motel room.
Oh, no.
He's got crack in a Tulsa motel room.
He's doing crack in a Tulsa
motel. Okay. There's Grace, and then there's fucking dirt floor under the foundation.
Yeah.
And he has hit dirt fucking floor right now. Rock bottom.
Unbelievable.
This is bad shit. Absolutely here. So he's arrested for cocaine possession, crack cocaine possession. And the second man in the room, too, is also arrested. He's hanging out with another dude in a hotel room smoking crack, which is even worse.
Not even a hooker.
He's not even hanging out with a woman smoking crack and having some weird, smelly, cracky sex.
Right.
He's hanging out with another dude. And then afterwards, they got to figure out how to get more crack. Gross.
And hopefully find someone that will have cracky sex with him.
Ugh, nasty.
Some ashy shit.
Fucking nasty. When he was leaving the police station, the Associated Press got a hold of him and asked him about it, and he said, quote, "I'm not talking about that," and he kept going. He said, I'm gonna talk to my lawyer, and then he left. That's literally what he said. He's gonna contact his lawyer.
John Stevens with AP. Hey, were you in a Tulsa motel?
I'm not talking about that. Call my lawyer. Shit.
I don't even care what was in it. Were you in a
Nope. Not talking about that. You don't talk what happens in Tulsa motel rooms gets you arrested, but you shouldn't talk about it. I think that's a slogan, right? Yeah. Yo, fuck you, man. I'm leaving, man. I don't have to listen to this shit. I'm gonna go do some more coke.
Unbelievable.
Fuck this shit, man.
Tulsa.
Motel.
I shiver.
I said, motel. That's like Todd Freeze. That's the equivalent of that.
It really is.
And he wasn't just there for a night. That's his. They knew to serve him a warrant there.
Yeah.
That's his address, Jimmy.
Oh, that's so.
That's
gross.
his fucking mailing address. He gets mail there. He gets mail there.
The Roadway Inn.
Yeah, his like health insurance shit from the league, they send it right to the Tulsa motel room.
You know, it's not even a road, like a chain one. It's just some shit.
Yeah. That's
like
how
the
much
Sunset Inn or some shit.
They knew he'd be there enough to serve a warrant. That's what they had on file. So he was there a while.
Fuck.
Jesus Christ, man. That is awful. So to wash the stench of the motel room off of him, he goes to play for the New Hampshire Thunderloons.
Oh, no.
In 1999. Yeah.
Thunderloons.
Thunderloons.
I don't even know what that is.
I think it's a bird because it's Loons, which is a bird. Loon.
Yeah.
I think a thunderloon is probably some kind of type of fucking bird from New Hampshire. Stupid. So he plays there for a little while. He also goes to another Croatian team here, HKK Soroki. I don't know. He plays. No, this is Croatia.
Oh, okay.
Seems like it. He plays there, and it's based in Bosnia. It's the basketball championship there. He plays with this team.
A guy with drug charges can get out of the country?
Yeah, they don't give a shit.
Wow.
They don't care. It's weird because I guess he wasn't arrested. Or some countries are also more lenient than others, and in a country like Croatia, I feel like if you're a rich person that wants to import a basketball player, he's coming over. It's one of those things. It's not like Canada where they're like, don't care. You had a fucking misdemeanor in 1984, you can't come in. Like, sorry, a disorderly conduct in 86, I'm sorry, fucking Sister Francis, you can't come in. I know you've been in the nunnery for 40 years since then. I'm sorry. I can't allow you access to this country. That's what they're like there, though. It's fucked up. So anyway, 2000, he goes to England to play in the British Basketball League, the BBL, plays for the Derby Storm in Derbyshire, obviously. Derbyshire, I know. As I said, it's an irk them. Derbyshire. In Derbyshire.
Dumb name.
This team also is another one that ended up changing names a bunch and moving around. They were the Derby Turbos and the Derby Rams and the Derby Bucks and the Derby Storm. So a lot of teams there.
They went through all the great professional team names before they landed on a WNBA name.
That's it, the Storm. Yeah, that's perfect. What was the other? What was the WNBA? The Shock or something?
There was the Liberty.
What was the team we were talking about? Like, I don't know, it was a couple months ago. Like, that sounds like a team, and it actually was a team. The Sting.
The Sting.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, that's terrible. This team was so lousy, they were given permission to sit out of the league for the 2002-2003 season to find a place to play and more money to generate. And so, And then they turned into the Derby Trailblazers after that. Okay. So,
back into the pro teams.
Yeah. In 2000, he comes back to the States to play for the Fargo Moorhead Bees. Beez. Bees.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's so much worse than the jersey.
God.
You know, it's got a big cartoon bee on it on their shirts and shit.
It's just stupid. It looks like an HVAC company.
Absolutely.
It's so bad.
Yeah, it looks like some plumbing drainage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, clean your shit pipes and smack your wife. It's Paul Calhoun's competition is what it is. Paul Calhoun's like, those sons of bitches, I know them bastards. You know what they're going to do? First of all, they're going to come over, they're going to fuck your plumbing all up. They don't know what they're fucking doing. I'm telling you right now, they're going to leave a glove down there, something, clog it up even worse. And you know what else they're not going to do? Your wife's not going to get smacked. I'll tell you that right now.
Not the right way.
She could mouth off right in front of this fucking guy. He's not going to say a fucking word. He's going to mess up your goddamn sewers. Me, I'll give it a back of my fucking hand, and then I'll fix your shit. It's going to flow like the fucking river. You understand me, buddy? That's my guarantee.
Your fucking cartoon bee on your shirt.
Clean your shit pipe, smack your wife, you take your bee and stick it up your ass, pal. You get out of here. So he goes to the it's the IBL, the International Basketball Association. That team is in.
League?
That's the league, yeah.
Right.
The
IBL.
league. IBL, yeah.
Right, not A.
It's IBA. I'm sorry,
Okay,
IBA,
right.
International Basketball Association.
Got it.
They ended up joining the CBA later on when the IBA folded, and they were the Dakota Wizards and the Saskatchewan Hawks later. I love how these teams go into mess. Then he plays for the Oklahoma Storm of the USBL, which is the U.S. Basketball League, in Enid, Oklahoma, where all the big sporting events take place.
Dreams come true.
Absolutely here. This in 2002, the next year after this, they won the USBL championship under head coach Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
What?
Which is fucking crazy. Sports agent James Sears Bryant was the guy who made the team, and I'm sure he gave Jabbar a bunch of money to go there so people could watch him coach.
Yeah. Because I would do that.
Yeah. Well, in the ABA, they hired Wilt Chamberlain to coach a team.
Did they really?
Just so he didn't even show up half the time. They said he wouldn't even show up for games half the time.
On the off chance he shows up,
people would buy tickets to watch him stand on the sidelines.
I would too.
That was what it was. They didn't care. And they ended up disbanding in the 2007 season. Okay. Later on, he also plays for the Wilmington Wave Rockers of the XBA in 2001, 2002. Who the fuck knows?
The XBA, they're throwing elbows
the
and shit?
Extreme Basketball League.
What is that?
We're going to fucking take a chair and whack you in the head, and if you still can stand, you can come in and fucking replace the guy who's tired. I don't know what that is.
Everybody's on a skateboard?
Fucking extreme, man. Well, the pads on and helmets and fucking bashing into each other.
Ridiculous.
It's roller derby, but with basketballs, I think, at that point. 2002, 2003, plays for the Frontier City River Dogs with a Z.
Yeah.
Oh, why do all these terrible teams have to put Z's on there? Just stop it.
They're aiming at kids. That's what it is.
It doesn't give you personality.
Trying
it's
to
just
get the
stupid.
fucking youth involved.
Good God.
Boys in the Hood with a Z. We're all hard.
1991, not 2002. By 2002, it's like enough with the Z. That's
a white guy's still in charge trying to relate.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
They still do that Z thing on the end of work. Let's just do it. Let's do it.
Hey, Timmy, come here.
Dogs. I think there's a dog. With a Z, it's a tougher dog. It's like a dog that's like a bitey dog. It's like a little dog with the otherwise like a friendly one. We want to be bitey, right? Bitey dogs. Yeah. We're river dogs.
We want a fucking chain on this dog's neck.
River dogs, and we just fucking eat people. With a Z. We bite and we go, nah, with a Z, nah, and we bite again. That's how it works. 2002, that's 2002, 2003. He ends up, that's about it for basketball for the moment. Nobody else wants him. His knees are kind of fucked up. He's got tendonitis and shit like that. So where does he go? What do you think he's going to do now, Jimmy? Make a new start in a new city where he can start fresh and do the smart thing? Or do you think he's going to move back to Tulsa? In a motel room? That's what he does. Going back home again. Let's break more. You were in Poland. How much farther away can you get? Back to Tulsa.
Unbelievable.
Where you think motel room's depressing. And this is fine if you're a normal person. If you're a person that has like a 4.5-foot vertical leap, this should not be your job, is what I'm getting at. So don't everybody go, hey, I work at a fucking warehouse or factory or something. Great. So did I for a long, it happens. I don't have a 4.5-foot vertical leap either, and neither do you, or else you wouldn't be there. He spends a year working at a Whirlpool plant.
No way.
Whirlpool, the brand, not Whirlpools,
Right.
like the Whirlpool, the brand in Tulsa, making ranges.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
He's building stoves.
He's just on an assembly line building stoves in a Whirlpool plant in Tulsa, which is the second most depressing place in Tulsa besides the motel.
There's a country song about it.
I would say so. Working at a Whirlpool plant, making ranges, and then going home to smoke crack at the motel. I think there is a country song about that in Tulsa. It's
Annie
not
Tucker,
good.
she sings it.
It's bad stuff, man. So, fall of 2012, he stays in Tulsa, kicks around in Tulsa for years in there. I mean, that's 2003, and he's just under the radar till 2012.
Yeah.
Just living in motels and working shitty jobs and doing things like that. Finally, fall of 2012, he's got no money, obviously.
Yeah.
He's fucked his whole life up. He moves back to Phoenix.
Yeah, I remember this.
He comes to Phoenix and he starts a youth basketball organization, Dumas and Friends Athletics, which is fine.
Yeah.
That's what he should be doing.
Yeah.
Problem is that's not all he's doing.
What is he doing?
He's also doing other things. He plays briefly for the Westchester Wild of the ABA, which is John Stark's team at that point. He said, I hurt my knee in the summer league here in Tulsa. I went to jump and tendonitis took over. I was in great shape. I just couldn't maneuver like I wanted to because my knees were hurting. He's too old to play fucking basketball anymore. He's in his mid-40s.
Fucking age, bro.
Yeah, sorry. You're not going to play competitive ball anymore.
Right.
You notice in basketball, in baseball, there's a couple guys who are like 42 and still play. And football, there's Tom Brady and guys like that. There's nobody in basketball who was 43 and any good.
Right.
Jordan was terrible when he was playing with the Wizards at the end of his career. His vertical jump was like Zach Randolph's, for Christ's sake. He couldn't do it anymore. He was done.
You know those guys that have career longevity all have in common? Not extreme amounts of fucking cocaine.
Coke.
Polluting their body.
Yeah, and you would think, too, his legs are still pretty fresh. He has a lot of basketball, I would think, but he also has probably wandered around Tulsa for fucking ever looking for crack.
I imagine that shit like hardens tendons and arteries and all kinds of shit. It doesn't help.
It actually doesn't do
Really?
that. It's actually, Coke is a weird, I heard this doctor talking
crack,
about it once.
though?
It's not good for you. It's bad for your heart and all that sort of thing, but it doesn't have, at least Coke itself doesn't have like lasting.
Yeah. It
Like
doesn't
effects.
accelerate aging and breaking down to the body.
I mean, it might a little bit, but it's not. What I'm saying is if you don't have a heart attack when you ingest the Coke, it doesn't make your heart weaker tomorrow.
Okay.
It's not like, oh, well, you did a bunch of Coke, now your heart's weak.
Right.
It's like, it's only weak while the Coke's going in it, and then it's normal.
And then you process it, you're good.
I guess. I don't know what the limit of that is, though. How much, I'm sure if you're just smoking boatloads of crack, you're probably altering something.
But you're also not working out.
Yeah, that's the
You're
other
not
thing.
focusing on the health.
Yeah.
So,
well, like, heroin's not bad for you at all.
Yeah.
Heroin's not toxic.
No.
People
It's just
shoot
when you do a
heroin.
shitload of it.
People shoot heroin. And heroin's not bad for you.
Right.
The things that go along with heroin, you get diseases from the needles,
Yeah.
and you fucking collapse your veins because you do that. But like,
Or you put fentanyl in it and it explodes your
that's
fucking
the other
heart.
thing. But heroin itself isn't. There's no like organ that heroin wears down.
Yeah.
Like heroin's not wearing your heart down or your brain down like over time. It's just a matter of if you OD on it, you'll die, and then otherwise you're fine.
Unless you're taking like painkillers with that kind of heroin.
That's
'cause
a
then
different story.
that
Well,
just-
that's pharmaceutical.
Yeah,
Different,
that ruins all
different
kinds
thing.
of things like hearing.
Yeah. And I don't know the exact medical. Don't tweet me about medical shit, but I know like that's a whatever. So anyway, 2000.
It's just a painkiller.
It's fine. 2013, they do an interview with him, and they talk about him being in a worn down Tulsa neighborhood. They said with horse properties and a basketball court and a park down the street.
It's called the Hood.
The Hood. They say he shows up shirtless with shorts and white socks and sandals on.
Hell yeah.
That's what he shows up for his interview. He said he moved back to Phoenix, but he's visiting Tulsa. Listen to this. Visiting his hometown for an ongoing floor wax stripping job in Phoenix and Tulsa.
Oh, boy.
So he's traveling to wax and strip floors.
Yeah. With no shirt on,
Whoa.
so he's already half stripped.
Wow.
Incredible.
Yeah. This is a mess.
Oh my God.
He says he likes this work because the buildings are empty overnight, and he says that he doesn't have to encounter as many people, especially in Tulsa where a lot of people recognize him. Because you're 6'7", you can't hide. If you're fucking 5'10", you can put a goddamn hat on and put it down, put some sunglasses on. Nobody cares.
His face is super recognizable.
If you're 6'7", everybody immediately looks at you because they can see you, and then they wonder who you are. If you're 5'10", you just never even get looked at. You just blend in.
Racist ass Tulsa. You look at a big black guy, you go, you should play. Oh, you did play basketball.
Oh, shit.
There you
Never
are.
mind. You're smoking crack. He says, quote, ain't nothing but trouble here in Tulsa. He says he moved to Avondale the last year and he got an apartment in Avondale to start a sports. That's in Arizona, in Phoenix. That's
like
why
right down the street from me.
that's why Jimmie's reacting like that.
Good Lord.
They say that he's got an overall calm in this interview. He says he's been clean for so many years that he doesn't recall when he took his last hit of drugs, which means soon.
Yeah.
That's a lie. Those motherfuckers know exactly when they're clean for it. They don't go, I don't even remember the last time I was just smoking crack one day and the next day I kind of didn't and then it just became a habit not. Nope, that's not how drugs work, motherfucker. You put it down one day and say, I'm not doing this shit anymore. And then you look at struggled and struggled. Right. And you know exactly how long it's been. He says a friend of his grandfather's here in Tulsa named Ted Hook said, quote, he turned out to be a good kid until he got in trouble, which means nothing.
Yeah.
He just said he turned out to be good until he wasn't. All right. What does that mean?
Everybody.
That's
everybody.
That doesn't mean anything.
That's anybody.
He was
everybody.
a good kid till he got in trouble.
He's a good kid until he wasn't a good kid no more.
Okay. At one point, everybody was a good.
Right.
At one point, Mussolini was a great child. I'm sure, just full of smiles and.
I've seen many pictures of Jeffrey Dahmer as a very cute
happy
little
as can
kid.
be. Happy as can be. He said about this street, he said, quote, everybody was a Suns fan on this street. He's a nice person who just got caught up in the wrong stuff. That's what I hate about it. When he was on the court, he was a totally different person. Now, Richard Jr. Went on to end up going into the Air Force.
Great.
So he ends up going into the Air Force. There's also more Air Force interaction with this family we'll talk about in a minute. That's not so great. Richard Jr., though, is in the Air Force, and his older son, LaRon, at that point worked at a senior citizens home in Oklahoma City. So there's that. They ask him about basketball stuff. They ask him about Game 5 in the finals and all that. And they ask him, apparently, I forgot about this. You remember that game that was on TV with the Suns and Magic where Shaq broke the rim and they had to stop the game for an hour? That game, Richard Dumas had 7 dunks and 32 points in that game.
And nobody knows.
You'll never know because Shaq tore the rim down that game.
That motherfucker.
That could have been his only 2 points, but doesn't matter because that's all anybody saw. On the highlight reel, they just showed, I remember on ESPN, they showed him fixing them. They didn't show Dumas dominating the game, which is what happened. So he said that kind of sucked. But he said that, and they said he rattled that off, and they checked it, and it was true. 7 dunks, 32 points. But he doesn't know when his last hit of fucking coke was. Your ass. You remember that from 20 years ago, but you don't remember. Okay.
You don't remember the thing that was most important to you, but you remember the thing that was second most important to you?
Come on. Now.
Eat dicks,
Eat
Rich.
dicks, dude. Come on. He said, exactly this, the thing that wasn't boring, you don't remember? He said, they said, do you ever watch those games? You ever see them? And he said, quote, it ain't going to change nothing, and it's only going to make me more depressed. Yeah. More depressed.
Right. I remember it every day.
Yeah. More depressed. Then think of that shit. He says he lost his fortune, which wasn't really that big of a fortune, but it was still more than fucking I'll ever get.
I've never made that.
Yeah, I never made $1.5 million or whatever. He says he lost it to drugs, back taxes, and a divorce. But he said he never played for riches anyway. He played for the love of the game. Right. He said he's trying to wipe the slate clean with basketball. He started Richard Dumas and Friends Athletic Association with the help of old friends for sponsors. Mark West is a sponsor. The Suns are helping. Dan Marley and Marley's Sports Grill. Dan Marley has a bunch of restaurants chain, and Oliver Miller, who sells cars at Superstition Springs Chrysler Jeep Dodge.
Ouch.
Which is fucking
hilarious.
Is
that where he is?
I don't know about 2013. That's where he was.
Wow.
Superstition Springs Chrysler Jeep Dodge selling cars.
Out there in Mesa.
Yeah, and all these people were willing to lend their time and money, I guess. Because, I mean, shit, if those guys show up, it's a fucking NBA team that's on the floor right there. Dumas, he says that Dumas and Friends is going to organize sports camps and clinics, including Dumas coaching. He says, I'm supposed to be leaving for North Carolina. They have a league down there, and I'm supposed to be a player assistant coach. I'd like to coach when I get through really playing basketball. That's now, dude.
It's been over.
It's been over. I feel I can offer a little bit because I understand the game. I don't just play the game. I've been at both ends of the sword. It's a double-edged sword. Okay. You either do it this way or you do it the right way, and I've been through both ways. I can give some type of contribution to kids coming up and show them what they need to do and how to understand the game like it's supposed to be played.
He doesn't know what double-edged sword means.
No, he just... that's why I'm like, what? Nope, you completely misused that metaphor. Absolutely mis-fucking-used. And he went, meta what? What the fuck are you talking about? I don't know. This is bullshit. I'm getting up.
That guy used to go.
I know him. Ron? You mean Ron?
I watched him get in a fight once.
So they asked him, do you believe all your demons are behind you now? And he said, it's going good, but I keep all that to myself. It's easier showing people than to try to tell them. That's what I'm going to try to do right now. This player coaching job is what I want to do because I really want to go on to coaching. I feel like I got the bad part over with and had the chance to see every aspect. I feel like I can teach somebody. So they said, how do you, had you not had the problems that you had, where do you envision your career going after your great rookie season? He says, I probably would have been one of those making those $100 million contracts, but that's something I have to learn from and just go ahead and be happy to be alive. Mm-hmm. That's true, and that's fucking sad. Yeah. He could have had $100 million, and then he could have retired, and he could have done all the coke on Earth. On Earth. He could have said, I would like a house made of cocaine that I'm just going to chip pieces off and snort.
I'm just going to...
I don't care.
Run my nose down the fucking step banister.
And nobody could have said shit to him.
No.
He could have went on TV and been like, I fucking love cocaine. Fuck you. I got a shitload of money, and I love cocaine. Yeah. Suck my dick, motherfuckers.
Catch
Kiss
me
my
if you
ass.
can.
Fuck you, and fuck you. Guess what I'll do if you do catch me, though? I'll hire a badass lawyer. I'll show up to court high as fuck on cocaine. So eat dicks. Instead, he's still under people's thumb. Right. Jesus, man. Cocaine after you make money. After, not during.
Not during, not before. Damn. You wait.
He says a lot of people recognize him from the Suns. He says that, that's kind of weird. He said to be recognized all over the place from the Suns. He says that he's living backwards. He said he's finding happiness playing basketball like a kid, and he's also likes to go to Suns games, and he said that's because 92, 93 was the first year that building was open. So that was, that's the same thing.
The difference is you buy tickets, you dickhead.
Yeah, they probably let him in. They probably comp him.
Yeah, I mean, back then, too, Serge Sabalas was like the in-game, like, entertainment guy.
Well, with him, they're
here's Becky and her kid.
With him, they're like, jump over there in the Pizza Hut and fucking help out a little bit. But they let him in for free, though, I feel.
Run a couple of his personal pants.
Yeah, this is what I mean. He's got to do a little bit over there. But, he runs a souvenir shop. He's like, which one? You want that shirt? That one? Okay, little girl. He says, though, quote, I'm enjoying life. I traveled the world. I've done what a lot of people wanted to do. I did it the opposite way. Now I've got to work for a living, which, he does. So let's find out what he was doing for working. Yeah. December 20th, 2013, he's working for a living. Police find a 44-year-old Richard Dumas at the Dumas and Friends Athletic Association, which is near Indian School and Dysart Road.
Oh, my God.
In Litchfield Park there. He's taken into custody without incident by the U.S. Marshal Service.
Really?
Federal custody. He's arrested on suspicion of 8 counts of organized retail theft from Luke Air Force Base's exchange.
Get out of here.
He's stealing from the fucking Air Force Base.
Wow.
He was a janitor there. He had a fucking cleaning contract, and he and his friends were stealing shit. All sorts of shit. Operation Grinch Stopper 2 focused on people who held outstanding warrants in connection with property crimes. This was authorities from 27 agencies across the state made 151 arrests. It's the second year of this program here. Dumas, this is the saddest surveillance video you're ever going to fucking see in your life. A 6'7" man caught on surveillance stealing $800 worth of cigarettes, alcohol, food, DVDs, and shoes from the Luke Air Force Base's exchange store.
That is disgusting.
In 2012, before he did that interview that says how great he's doing. This is what he was doing. He was a janitor who was stealing shit. They said that, it was $800. The police released the video, which shows him wiping the floors and then just grabbing shit along the way as he's wiping. He's like wiping shit, and then he'll like grab something off the shelf and pocket it and keep going.
It's 2012, Richard.
It's all cameras. And it's the federal government. You're
stealing from the fucking
You're stealing from the Air Force.
Right.
You're not stealing from fucking Joe Blow or this isn't Walmart. This is the fucking Air Force. That's when U.S. Marshals marshals come to your motel room, or in this case, your charitable organization, and get arrested by federal authorities, which doesn't look good, I don't think.
Under Grinch Stopper
for stealing from the Air Force. That's fucking pathetic. He does actually somehow, there's a $7,500 bond and he bonds out somehow. Really? He must have some woman he's slinging dick to or something that he's talking into the shit.
Or he sold a shitload of stolen cigarettes.
That's the other thing, too. Yeah. Who knows what kind of ring they had going on or whatever, but they release him. Now what do you do? He just did all these interviews. I'm back in Phoenix. I'm a great guy now. I'm a charity. Let me work with your kids.
Watch me. I'll show you how good I am.
And now the local news has a video of him fucking being a thieving janitor from the federal government. It's not great. Not a good look for him.
No.
He's just trying to avoid people at this point, which I don't fucking blame him.
Yeah.
He's got to avoid people. He's hungry.
Yeah.
So he goes someplace where he thinks no one will know him. He smells some good food and he opens up this door and it's the shawarma man. And he says, "How is it you've come to arrive here? Why are you here? You know what happened to you if you steal from military in my country? You know what happened to you? They take balls, put on table, and smash with cartoon mallet. Big cartoon mallet like Coyote, but doesn't miss. Boom, Acme, right on nutsack.
Several of them.
Yeah, several.
They're plural. Mallets with a Z.
You come out with pancake testicles, very big, 4-inch wide, very flat though. No good for children. You're a bad person. You steal from military, but shawarma man, the one who gets pulled out of line at the airport and gets gloved hand in butthole? Huh? That's what happened? No TSA pre-check for shawarma man, small business owner, but for you get everything fine. Even in my darkest days, shawarma man would not do coke with you. No. You hug it and no for you. I not make for you. No lamb. Sign say closed. You go poof. And then he disappears and Cedric is very confused.
You mean Richard?
Cedric. I'm thinking of Sabalas. Yeah. Not Cedric. Richard is excessively confused and he has no shawarma. And now he's because he really wanted shawarma.
Yeah, he's starving.
He's upset. So October 2014, his defense attorney tells the judge that they work something out where the shoplifting charge, he's charged with burglary and like organized this and that. There's like 8 charges. One of them is shoplifting, and they have to drop those charges because the statute of limitations is now passed. Mm-hmm. It's been 2 years. So his lawyer goes to the judge and says, "Can we drop the shoplifting charge?" And so they actually do. They agree to permanently drop that charge. But obviously there's everything else. And so he's kind of fucked. His friend, his coworker who he was working with here doing this scam, Leroy Abraham, racked up about $4,000 in stolen goods from the Air Force Base there. He does face burglary charges though, from federal burglary charges. Not great. Or not there. This one, I think these are federal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
It's that.
And it's $4,000. That's more than $100. Yeah, that's a big deal.
December 11, 2014, he had pled not guilty. He finally says, "Fuck it, I'm pleading guilty." Because he's facing like 10 years in jail because it's burglary and all these federal charges. He's facing huge charges.
And it's on camera.
And he's fucked. Yeah, it's not going to go. You can't deny that.
No.
Look at you.
Right.
You're the tall guy. We fucking see you. It's the same guy I saw in the 93 finals, except here you're waxing a floor and stealing cigarettes rather than dunking on Scottie Pippen. Much different.
In this video, Pippen's beating the shit out of you and he's not even in the
He's not even there. Not even in here. So January 21st, 2015 is sentencing for this, and he pleads guilty, sits and puts himself on the mercy of the court. Yeah. What else can you do? And the judge tells him, "You, sir, may fuck off." 3 years supervised probation. Well, he's fine. He gets nothing.
Son of a bitch.
He gets nothing. But Jesus Christ, is he a sad sack of shit?
He got something.
He's a sad sack of shit.
Yeah.
His name is worthless. I feel bad for his fucking kid, who's now Richard Dumas goddamn Jr. He's like, "Thanks a lot, asshole." Everyone.
I'm in the Air Force.
I mean, even his dad, he disgraced his dad. This guy's in the Air Force, who his dad with the same name is stealing from on fucking camera. And if he's in the Air Force, he's probably stationed at Luke, too. He's like, "Your dad's stealing from our base." I feel bad for all these people, Jimmie, but not nearly as bad as I feel for Richard Dumas, food and beverage purchasing manager at Aurora Cannabis Inc. Hey, look at you in Canada. All right, nice job. Richard Dumas, intergovernmental partnerships. It's a government administration job with the Canadian government in Edmonton, Canada. Richard Dumas, vice president of marketing at Inference, which is in San Francisco Bay Area. Inference Solutions, some sort of. He's an MIT grad.
Yeah.
He went to Wesleyan and MIT. Yeah. This guy. He says, "quote I'm a full stack marketing leader who loves building tech companies. I enjoy managing all aspects of marketing."
I hate him more.
Douchebag. And Richard Dumas, supervisor and outreach coordinator at the Baltimore City Office of Child Support.
Hell yeah.
Which this Richard Dumas probably is not paying or hasn't paid in years. And finally, Richard Dumas, a high school athlete in Chino Hills, California, a 5'10", 175-pound varsity football player who played defensive back.
The poor fuck.
And was mistaken multiple times for this Richard Dumas. Can't get enough of our boy Dumas.
Wow.
Our man Dumas here. You can get a 1992 Upper Deck, number 476, Top Prospects, Richard Dumas Sons card here for $1.10.
Oh,
with $4.49 shipping.
That man had 32 points in a game.
Yeah, he had 25 in a finals game, in a big finals game.
For $1.90.
Only 2 in stock, $1.10.
$1.10.
Plus $4.49 shipping. Only two in stock here. And Richard Dumas autographed basketball card. This is an Oklahoma State, 1991 Oklahoma State. He's in that. Autographed, $13.
Wow.
Plus $3.79 shipping. That's a fucking steal.
His autograph is worth $12.
I might actually order that. That and a jersey.
That is amazing.
Wow. Yeah, ships from there. You can get it by Friday, May 10th if you order right now, or actually a couple days ago when I did this research.
Just in time for Mother's Day.
Just in time for Mother's Day. Hey, Mom, wanted a crackhead's autograph?
At least I didn't do this.
This cocaine from the pores is probably on this card, I would say, because he held it to sign it. I'm assuming he leaked cocaine residue on it. Trace amounts. This could get you put away in an Arab country. They'd kill you for this, just for the amount that's on this card right there. So Middle Eastern country, you're done.
There's more on this card than on American currency.
You're fucked, man. You're totally fucked. So that is Richard Dumas.
Wow,
what a fucking waste of everything. We get guys who are like, oh, he could have been good and he could have had a good career, and then we have guys who are like, oh, he had it, like Riddick Bowe, he had this great career and blew it in the middle of it or something like that. But this is one of those ones that really is what this shit's all about. Of this guy could have literally been a legend who had $100 million, and instead he's fucking waxing floors while he steals cigarettes from the federal government.
He literally squandered it before he had it, too. You know
that's what I mean. Gone.
I mean, in college he squandered it. It was already over then.
Yeah. But I mean, he got back to that level of after that finals game, 5 years, $9 million. He could have played 2 years of that contract, been huge, renegotiate. Yep. He could have made a fucking fortune and been a huge star. He could have been on that Olympic team in '96. He could have been, because there's guys on that team and he's way more talented than he could have fucking been on that team. It's ridiculous, honestly. So that's a sad state of affairs.
It really is.
And luckily pretty damn funny too. So that's good. That's excellent. If you like that, there is a way you can show us, and it's a very simple way. You can go over to iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever the hell that is, the purple icon, and you can give us 5 stars and just tell us whatever you want. Tell us you're following instructions or following directions. It really doesn't matter. It's just, it helps drive us up the charts. I'll be very honest with you. For a business thing, it helps us out a lot, helps get us noticed a little bit more.
Move the needle.
Move the needle. If you could do that, it'd be great. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your crime and sports and small town murder needs. All sorts of merchandise. Tour dates are coming up. Yes. So if you want to know that, on the 9th, which is when we release Thursday, this Thursday, we'll be releasing Small Town Murder with all the tour dates on it. So Thursday, we will be announcing them everywhere on the show. We'll put them up on our site, and then tickets will go on sale the next week. So look out for that. I think they go on sale the 13th of May.
Pre-sales, right?
I don't know what the hell pre-sale. So you'll be able to buy tickets. We'll
figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We'll let you know what's going on with that. But I hate those pre-sales. I hope they don't do that.
They frustrate me because I don't know when the original or when the official is or the pre-sale.
Put them on sale and let people buy.
We'll let you know.
We'll let you know what's going on. We don't have control over that really. So, you know how that goes. Yeah. So we'll let you know about all that. But check all that out. There's merchandise there. You can wear to live shows or just around your house or to your office or wherever the fuck you want to wear it. It's up to you. It's a free goddamn country. To do cocaine in a Tulsa motel room, just do it. Who cares? It's fine. You can buy all that stuff there. Check out the tour dates. Also, you can follow us on social media right from there at Crime and Sports on Facebook and Twitter, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. Follow us up there. Do everything like that. And then if you want to be one of our superstars, you can do that as well. Our producers we're going to talk about in a moment. And these people really keep this show running. And good Christ, we can't thank them enough. We just love them to death. So we're going to talk about in glowing terms these producers who have done wonderful things for us. What they've done is gone to patreon.com/crimeinsports, and they've made a monthly donation, or they've gone to PayPal and used our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com, to make a one-time donation. And these people are amazing. We love them to death, and we are going to be putting up more content under the Patreon banner. I know. More bonus content for that. So get with that, but never mind that shit for now. Jimmy, tell me about the most fabulous goddamn people that we cannot live without. Give it to me right now.
This week's executive producers are Sarah McCormack, Leah Egan of the Egan Sisters fame, Neelu Rafsanjani up there in San Francisco. She's the bodybuilder. Cool. She's a badass.
Yeah, she's cool as shit.
Cool. Robin and Jake Anderson, Travis and Chrissy Saunders, who've been with us forever.
You guys are awesome, man.
From Salt Lake, right?
OG Salt Lake City, baby.
Absolutely. Lainey Eagle, I missed her birthday. Sorry, Lainey.
No.
Hannah. What is it? Oh, it's Hannah Power. And then Neil Patel, the Sinister Minister. I kind of dig. I don't know. I just like that he's got himself a little
Sinister
nickname.
Minister. That was a wrestling manager, Sinister Minister.
Is that what it is?
Maybe that's what it is. With ECW. And,
he had some other AKAs that I didn't write them all down, just the Sinister Minister. I'm good with that either way. Other producers this week are Nadine Carter, Christian Lopez, Robin Durbin, Casey Sailstrom, Cooper Critchfield, David Gessing, Nicola Elliott, Mike Toms, Carissa Wilson, Shanna with no last name, Ashley Robelia, Lynn Cornell, Madeline Bebler, Paula, what is that? Salamanca? Yeah, that's an Italian girl. That's what that is. I'm sure of it. TJ McCullum.
How you doing, sweetheart?
TJ McCullum, Avriel Peach or Petch or Pie. Nope, I'm not getting it. I'm sorry. Miller Hines, and he made a bunch of memes for us last week. Thanks, Miller. Appreciate it. M Cannon 02. I don't know what. That's just like a screen name or whatever. Didn't have a name. It just said M Cannon 02.
Well, we appreciate you.
Right. Nora. About Ham. No, that's not what that is. Abatram. Autotram. No. What did I do?
I like when you go, I got it. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I'm sorry, Nora.
That's awesome.
Katie Combs, Liz Allen, Hazy Nelson, Elle Bertoni, Kim Riley, Shannon with no last name, Kimberly Stoltman, Andrea Papageorge, Nicole Holtzmark. Did I say that? No, Nicole Holtzmark. That's what that is. That's two different people. There was Kimberly Stoltman. That's what it was.
Hey.
And Jade Osborne, Christopher Saliup. Is that what that is? I think I don't. Fuck. Kate with no last name. No. Susan York Duquette. Samantha Diffendaffer.
That's an awesome name.
It is.
That sounds like the name of a candy.
Yeah, it does.
Like a Fun Dip. It's a Diffendaffer. It's like the knockoff Fun Dip, or the good Fun Dip, we'll say. Yeah, you know what? You're the good Fun Dip lady.
Fun Dip is the knockoff of the Diffendaffer.
That's right. Yep, that's right.
Alexis Tompkins, Benny Nielsen, Amanda Petrovito, Lindsay Roloff. I wrote a really terrible way of whatever your last name is. Larry Butterfass, Alex Capel, Casey and Trisha, Jenny Wallace. No, just Jen Wallace. Peter Falconer. Or Falconeer, Stephanie Miller, Tenley Pocket Robin Cotton, Hayden Stouffer, Caitlin Taylor, Nikki Ritteroff.
Hey,
she's in Chicago. Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you.
Timothy Young, Auntie. Our auntie sent us money. Thank you. Liz Brunner, Andrew Paulson, Jeff Watts, Kristen Otero, Simone with no last name, Daniel Blagio, Crystal Lamb, Andrew Batters, Norman Sather, Matt Sledge, Allie Cannon, Hannah O'Mary, And she donated twice. Thank you, Hannah.
Oh, thank you so much.
Danielle Hansen, Brad Peters, Fran Scholl, Becca with no last name, Amanda with no last name, Male Lady Autumn, John Walker, Cal, what did he say? Oh, he's a vet. Thank you so much, Cal.
Thank you.
He wrote us something like
Double
insanely nice, and I forget. Oh, you know what it was? We help him with his PTSD.
No
and
shit.
That fucking,
Appreciate
he hates
you, brother.
the VA because they don't help, but we do.
Thanks for sharing that
Cal.
with us, brother. Appreciate that, man.
Neil Campbell, Jack Smith, Samantha Golden, Paige Parker, and Jordania in Texas. That's what that is. Rebecca McDonough, Karen Edgen, hang in there. Brendan Abels, Jesse Hartman, Katie Case, Jana with no last name, Karen Weiss, Frankie and Skippy. I think those might be dogs. Maybe they're people.
Maybe.
I don't know. Patch,
Nice. Yeah.
Patch is a bitch. Sorry, Patch. Brittany
Patch.
Hart. Yes, that's what that is.
Patch getting the what for?
Yeah, I know, for no reason. Liz Vasquez, thank you, and thanks for the gifts you send, Liz. You're terrific.
Yeah, thank you,
Dana
Liz.
Grayson, Tyler Gwill, Stephen Schnell, Jason Fuller. Those are like a bunch of dudes.
That's our OGs there. Dana Grayson, Jason
Thank
Fuller. Man.
John Deere. I think that's Deere. DEHR. That's Deere, right? I think so.
Yeah.
Or Dare.
Dare.
I don't know. Ryan Shank, Gary Howard. Thanks, Gary. Carol Braun. It's been a while.
Thank you.
Since we've seen you. Thanks for coming around.
Really?
Travis Diarmente. No, Diarment. Fuck. I don't know if I was supposed to put an E on that. James Price, Sinfully Delightful, Clean Eating. Ashley Levitai, Roxana Hernandez, Stephen Crumley, Victoria Saunders, Amber Thunstrom, that's what that is. Guy Rillo, Troy Lindsay, Hannah Bragg, Damian Barney, Jana Gilbertson, that's what that is. Mike Kennedy, every time he donates to, I'm like, take that, Mike, you fucking twat. I knew you liked us.
Yeah, and it's not you, not the Mike that donated to us. You're not a twat. You're fantastic.
But every time you do it, I say,
yeah,
that's my dude.
Yeah.
Whitney Gregory, Kurt Van Hook, Rachel Stora, Hannah O'Mary, that's the one that donated twice. See, I knew it. Callie Shinkunis, BT Bullet, and they donated to somebody else, and we're hoping that we would say their name first. So I hope that we got it.
Hopefully we threw it down.
Bang, deal with that. Amanda
we come out on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have
I don't know.
No other recourse.
Abdul John or Jan, Rosalba Avalos, RMPChicagoEvents.com. They do like weddings and proposals and shit like that.
Go get married.
There you go. Krista Walker, Kelsey Grosbeck, Eric Langenecker, Rebecca Hart, Casey Huffman, Sandra Gaither, Annabelle's House with Haus, but Annabelle Blue is the one that donated. Thank you. Katie Ives, Angela and Justin Miller. Thank you both. Ashley Vio, Stephanie Smith, Reagan Shalkley, Jibs Trash and Treasure in Wisconsin. I don't know what that is.
Visit them.
Go find them.
Sounds neat.
Jordan Bennett, Jennifer Castle, Stephen Rude, Allison Morris, and all of our Patreon supporters. Thank you all so much. We see you.
We appreciate the shit out of you guys. Thank you so much for that and for everything, honestly. For every review, every goddamn tweet you send at us, everything, every dollar, every dime, every time you listen, every time you tell a friend, it fucking matters. And what can they do to tell you you matter, Jimmie?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And what's the other one? Instagram? Did I say that? Twitter,
I think you did.
Snapchat?
Yeah, I think you threw that one in there,
Facebook, too. That's right.
Yeah, throw it in there.
Find me, whatever. I appreciate anything you guys say. Where can they tell you things?
You can tell me things at, you can find me at Jimmie P is funny, or copy and paste my last name from the show description. Don't go crazy and trying to spell it. What's the point? Honestly, it's not your name. You don't need to know how to spell it. Just look it up. It's fine. Do that. Follow us. Keep coming back every week, because we're going to keep this going. We have some crazy shit lined up for the next month. Some real weird ones. We got some murder coming up, a couple of sports that we don't know shit about, which are always fun whenever we talk about sports we know nothing about, and hear us just mistakenly try to stumble our way through what the hell they're talking about.
God damn it, I gotta pee.
It'll be funny. Yeah, that's what it is. But other than that, guys, thank you so much. See you next week, and live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry. The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus